welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Ooh, yay, boy. Let me tell you something. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
I have to tell you, Jimmie, your yay this week, it should be a deep yay.
Really?
Like a yay, like that, because that's the kind of story we have
Like a
today.
Dolph Lundgren
Yeah,
yay?
like a really exciting Dolph Lundgren with Joe Sun standing next to him kind of yay.
Yay. Like a grunt yay.
Like a grunt yay. God, before we get into this, I do want to thank everyone for the iTunes reviews this week.
It was a big week.
Big week, and it means the world to us that
Yes.
you get those iTunes reviews in there. It really helps us with sponsors. It helps us with the charts. All the business stuff on our end that you guys don't care about. You just spend 30 seconds and drop us an iTunes review. You are helping us immensely.
You don't even realize
You
it.
don't even realize. And all you have to do is give us 5 stars, tell us you're following instructions or one of our silly inside jokes, and
That's
just do
it.
it that. And that's all you have to do, and we are thrilled with you, and we can't thank you enough for that.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed last week.
I sure did.
I did. I enjoyed finding out about rugby and making fun of France a lot.
I had somebody tell us that we should watch a rugby game or a cricket game and just comment on it.
Yeah,
just
no.
comment on the silliness going on.
Don't give a fuck. I watched enough rugby to get ready for that, and it was so terrible I couldn't fucking stand myself. It's not even terrible. I don't understand
Right.
it, and I don't want to.
That's the
thing.
fun. That's why they enjoyed it.
Yeah,
That and
that's
us
what's
making
good.
fun of the surrender monkey French.
So that's what's beautiful, realizing that we don't really have that many French listeners. We say whatever the fuck we want about these people. We're always worried about offending somebody or whatever, but not on that one.
No.
It's like, we all hate the French. Let's throw it in there.
Everybody hates them.
Fine. Beautiful country with shitty people. We love it.
White flag waving sons of bitches.
That was a crazy episode. A guy, if you didn't hear, he has a murder committed in front of 60 people, just in broad, just there
Mark
you go,
Session.
in front of all of his friends, and not even strangers
No.
that may not know who he is. It was
People
like,
that- yeah.
he was the guest of honor at the party that he decided to murder at. So.
Assaulted the host's wife.
Oh my god,
and then fucking in front of
Please.
60 people.
Go back and listen to Mark
listen. It's fucking
Session from last week. 'Cause
fascinating.
It's wild, but this week we got a pile this week.
Oh, I
Jimmy.
can't
Let me tell you,
wait.
this is something
A
else.
pile of shit?
A pile of shit.
I love it.
A man who has he's a human roller coaster, this guy.
Right.
Human roller coaster. It's Dexter Manley.
All right.
Dexter Manley from the NFL.
Yes.
Dexter Keith Manley, he was born, not a junior.
Oh.
So that's good. But there is a junior connection in the story.
Boy.
Don't worry. There'll be a junior. Don't you worry.
There's always one.
What do you think he's going to name his kid, Jimmy? Let's be honest here. Come on.
The hubris.
So the hubris. So the insanity started on February 2nd, 1958, when Mr. Manley was born.
That's his birthday.
That's his birthday. Right from there, boy,
And
they
that's
knew.
when it starts.
It's like the Bad to the Bone song.
Yeah.
As soon as he popped out, they knew it was up. He grows up in Houston, in not a nice area of Houston. He talks about later when college coaches come to recruit him. And the college coaches pull up in like limos and shit because they want to show you how affluent the university is. So you need to come there. And he was saying coaches like Bum Phillips and guys like that were getting out of their limousines, walking up to his shack literally shack on blocks.
On bricks.
On blocks in Houston. It's in the third ward of Houston, which apparently isn't or wasn't a nice place to be back then. He gets into football early. He's a big kid. He grows up to be 6'3", 253.
Wow.
He's a big guy and athletic as all hell. He was a really quick, really strong, really athletic freak of nature kind of guy. He tries to impress his father with football because his father, I don't know, he wants to impress his dad. He tells a story about, he ate like a horse when he was a kid because he just wanted to get bigger and play football better. And he said his dad would like buy meat and like chain the refrigerator up so he wouldn't just eat it all right away. So that's the type of kid. He's voracious appetite.
He comes home from school wanting a snack, and he's got to fucking pick a padlock to
He's
get
got
a
to
peanut
pick a
butter and jelly.
padlock. He's got to break out the bolt cutters to get over there. It's a terrible mess.
Dad comes home, he's just chewing on a T-bone in the
That's
corner. It's raw. He doesn't know how to cook.
No, that's what I mean. He's like 14 years old.
Right.
He thought, you know what, though? We probably would have gone in there because he's rabid for everything, as we're going to find out here. His appetite's no bounds.
Awesome.
No bounds. His mother was an alcoholic, pretty bad alcoholic, too.
One of them usually is.
Had some health problems also. Brother was a drug dealer who was killed.
Oh, my God.
So his brother died in the streets as a drug dealer in this area. He had a half-brother who also went in and out of prison for, robberies and this and that. In second grade, he was left back and put into a class for, quote, the retarded.
Oh, way to go with your political correctness, Houston.
It's 1964,
Yeah.
so retarded was actually a kind term then. It was better than fucking doy-doy, you know what I mean, which is what they would have called it before.
It's better than fucking dummy.
That's what I mean. So it was, yeah.
They likely had school for dummies written up there, and the president of the school was like, let's not do that one.
It's just scratched out, but you can still see the
what
outline
if we call
of
them
dummies.
retards? Yeah, that's good. Let's do.
So he's school for the retarded. Interesting here. As he grows up and plays football and becomes a big star high school athlete playing football, he's illiterate.
Of course.
He never learned to read. He said all he remembers from grammar school is playing with blocks, because they put him in special ed and didn't do anything. Back then, they didn't. They just
spelling blocks?
Just blocks, not even spelling
Really?
blocks. That's what I wish it was the spelling blocks. He might have known some letters at that point, but he doesn't know anything. And he said that they just basically leave you behind in special ed back then, which is what I've heard.
Yeah.
Now, he would copy off people in high school, or, beg teachers, or use football as a leniency tool, or he would cry to teachers saying that he tried to do this, but he never said he couldn't read. He couldn't tell anybody. He said it wasn't something you would want to tell anyone.
There's some shame involved in that.
A lot of shame, especially if you're a big popular athlete. You're going to say, "Oh, we can't read now.
We're going to win state this year." Well, not if you can't read Catcher in the Rye, you fuck.
Yeah, and the dumb athlete stereotype. I figured was something he was trying to avoid.
Read Cat in the Hat, motherfucker.
That's complicated for him. I think. Hop on pop. We'll go. Let's go back a little here.
One fish, two fish. Yeah. What comes after two?
You figure it out. Here, go sit in the corner and figure that out, Dexter. He would have friends or girlfriends write his papers for him. Despite all of this, he receives 37 scholarship offers.
Wow.
Yeah, and from huge schools, too. He's a monster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're
Bama, Auburn, all those guys.
He ends up choosing Oklahoma State.
Wow.
Oklahoma State, which Oklahoma State recruited heavily in Texas back then. So that's no shock there. Now, he gets a 6 on his ACT exam, which is like an entrance exam. The average score is 18.2.
He got a 6.
6, which honestly is pretty impressive considering that he can't read shit. Right. Honestly, that's probably just doing C. Will get you a 6, because the average is 18.2. So that's average. That's not great.
Abacadabra.
That's it. They say, I remember it was a social studies teacher in high school telling us that if you basically do C, you'll always get like a 40.
Really?
He said, you'll always end up getting like a 40. So it's like, I think maybe that was his strategy.
Yeah.
All C's, or like I said, spell his name. There's where's the X, damn it? Oh, shit, I don't even know how to spell my name. Never mind. He becomes a marketing major in school.
What?
You don't need to read to be a marketing major. You just go out there and be full of shit, and you got it. You're perfect. Hey, look at you. You're a college graduate.
Full of shit. Well, I mean, he got into college, so he's clearly full of shit.
He's clearly full of shit.
He can't even write, so marketing's perfect.
Perfect. He says in their own words here about his education and about his lack of any kind of skills or proficiency in anything. He says in their own words, quote, "In special education classes, you're going to move on. They knew I couldn't read. I knew I couldn't read and write, but in 7th grade, you don't tell that to your friends. By 10th grade, I look at my situation. The only thing I had going was football, and it was what I wanted. So if I go back and tell them I can't read, next thing you know, I'm too old to play."
That's a smart kid.
It is
who
smart.
Can't fucking read and write.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get around. Well, I mean, think about it. That's every day he's got to get around this.
You know what that is? That's street smarts is what that is. That's just fucking survival skills. Yeah.
And it's every day since he was little, since, about 3rd grade when they expect everyone to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
He's been lying ever since.
That's third ward street skills. That's all that is.
I feel like he doesn't even have to think about this. This just comes to him to hide the reading thing.
That's how you survive.
Absolutely, like a serial killer's like, no, I don't have any rope in my car. I don't know what you're talking about.
Black gloves, never seen them.
Never saw them at all. So he goes to college at Oklahoma State. He said Oklahoma State knew he couldn't read, which is amazing. We have a guy, an academic advisor at Oklahoma State University named Dale Rourke. And whoa, this guy blows kind of the lid off this whole thing. And he said the way he says this is so irritating because he says it like, hey, we were like it. Yeah, we didn't know he could read, but, everybody fucks each other over, basically. Here's the quote here. Quote, "We knew he couldn't read a textbook. I agree we exploited Dexter for 4 years, but he exploited us. Coaches further their careers with players like Dexter, and players, in turn, groom themselves for pro ball."
He did it first? Fuck you, man.
One difference. Yeah. You're making money off of
Absolutely.
him while you're putting a kid out there who has no business being in school, rather than trying to teach him to read, you're just passing him through and throwing him out on the field so you can get money and glory.
Paychecks.
That's some silver-haired, middle-aged white man shit if I've ever heard it. That's exactly what that is.
That's textbook.
That is textbook.
Yeah,
we've never had anyone so silver that they had somebody fucking illiterate and still exploited them and then said, well, he exploited me too. Right. Whoa. Holy shit, is that silver.
That's
what a complete
silly.
Asshole. So, yeah, I don't like that guy.
I like to just two
like
wrongs.
the honesty, but...
Yeah, but the two wrongs make a right thing. That it's just bullshit. The whole thing is...
You're a multi-million-dollar, huge institution with boosters and backers and federal funding and state all this type of shit, and this is some kid from the ghetto who can't read, and you're going to fucking say, well, he used us.
Right, he's just trying to survive and make the best out of his situation.
Yeah, that's it.
You're making the best out of the best fucking situation.
Yeah, you're taking him, pretending he's fine, and moving on. It's unbelievable. Now, at this point, too, there's some people who are kind of speaking out against this. There's a woman named Dr. Jan Kemp, and I love her. I'm in love with Jan Kemp from the University of Georgia. She spoke about not teaching athletes enough and was fired for it.
Really?
And she had some salty shit to say about that.
I hope so.
She said, quote, envious people who reduce the athlete's power by perpetuating the stereotype of inadequate, just a walking checkbook. Once a kid shows money-making potential, the money sharks swarm in a frenzy wearing the hats of agents, boosters, and recruiters.
And silver fucking toupees.
Yeah, they're not wearing a hat. They're wearing silver hair on top of their head, ready to make money off you.
Oh, she's great.
Brush your indiscretions over that. She knew about silver-haired middle-aged white men well before we got into this game, Jimmie. Well before. She had it clocked.
Yeah.
Clocked. So in college, there's some problems with the coach. The coach there sucks his first couple of years. He's fired, and they hired Jimmie Johnson.
Is that right?
Jimmy Johnson from
the
on
Dallas
TV
Cowboys,
now, from the Cowboys, from the Dolphins, from all these. This
NFL Network, fucking watch the Super Bowl. He'll be there.
Miami University, national championships. Jimmie Johnson's a big deal.
And the Dolphins, too, right?
The Dolphins in the late 90s, after Parcells, I think.
Right.
After Parcells. Yep. He becomes, the team, when he comes in, when Jimmie Johnson gets there, they get better, obviously, but they also get a shitload of NCAA violations because that's what Jimmie Johnson does. Look at Miami. He basically comes in for a short period, builds it up completely illegally, and then runs away as it burns to the ground behind him.
See you around.
Bye.
He's the original Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he just listens. He hears screams behind him, and he's just running. I don't hear anything. I'm good.
I can't hear it over fucking Hey Sloopy from the fucking band.
Thank you, man. So part of these NCAA violations, there's no shocker that they got in trouble for this because Dexter got a new car out of this deal. And he says he remembers getting the new car because he said he walks off the practice field and there's a booster there that gave him a set of keys and said, come sit in the car. And he sat in the car and it was a brand new car. And he said, this is the nicest. Like, I've never been in anything brand new before.
This is worth more than the fucking house that I lived in my whole life.
He grew up in the retard class, living on a fucking house on blocks in the ghetto with a brother getting shot in the streets. He hasn't had a new car. So he's like, wow. And then he turns the radio on. And the funny thing is, it was the day Elvis died, is the day he got the car. So we know exactly what day he got the car. So that was the day Elvis died. And he was like, oh, man, Elvis died. And then the guy gave him the keys and he said, it's all yours. And he didn't know what to do with himself. He's like, well, they gave me a car. Holy shit.
It says retard on the license plate.
It says totally Tard Man on the license plate. It says Big Tard. Unbelievable.
It says Dextard.
Dextard. I like that one. That's better. That's your pun for the week.
That's a pretty good one.
Put that in your fucking pocket.
I'm impressed with that one.
I'm even okay with that one. That one was pretty good. Because if it's on a license plate, it makes sense. So Jimmie needs a license plate every week. That's what we need to get him here. So anyway, he's got his new car. Elvis is dead. Mm-hmm. Everybody's happy. This is at Oklahoma State.
Except for Elvis's daughter.
Yeah, she's not happy, probably.
She will be later when she inherits Graceland. Go on.
And his catalog. Right. So Dexter there's a big fight at some bar off campus during, I believe, his junior year where he is cut with a box cutter on his face. If you've ever look up a picture, you'll see on our social media, on his left cheek, there's a giant scar.
Badass.
Huge scar. It looks like a birth defect. It's so big.
I would fucking do that. Just to fucking have that cool scar. That's a badass scar.
It's a badass scar, but it would be cool if you were 6'3", 250 and like a badass football player.
5'8", kind of a doughy 165.
You don't want
not
a big
so
scar
cool.
on your face. They'd be like, somebody raped you, didn't they? They raped you and cut you up bad, huh?
They got you good.
They got you, huh? You were in jail, weren't you? Yeah, they got you. That looks like a total prison shiv on your face there. It's a thick one, too. So that's not great. But in college too, he's a beast.
It's a raised scar, right?
It's kind of
like welted and kind of bubbly.
It's nasty looking. It's a nasty looking scar.
I fucking love scars. That's cool.
Deep. It looks like it was deep, and he didn't go to the doctor right away.
He could jam his tongue through it.
Oh, he could have put his fucking 4 fingers through that. He could
have got a cavity filled through it.
Definitely. So, he's a hot item out of college, but he, like I said, the personal problems, and also too back then that recruiting shit would come to light.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing it, but when it came to light, people were like, "Ooh, don't want to go near that guy," unless they were Eric Dickerson, and then they draft him number 2 overall.
Of course.
He was a beast.
Hall of Famer. It's going to happen.
April 28th, 29th, 1981 is the NFL Draft. Okay. It was at the New York Sheraton Hotel in New York City.
What day? April what?
April 28th and 29th. It's a 2-day affair here. Now, this is the draft. You have to be an old football fan for this, but George Rogers goes number 1 to the New Orleans Saints. He's a running back and was a damn fine running back for a while. Lawrence Taylor, number 2 to the Giants.
Yeah.
And hell of a pick by Bill Parcells there in the Giants. George Young there, the GM. That was one, too. They didn't want him. They were like, what do we need more defense for? Parcells was like, you get that son of a bitch
because
now.
he's the best one ever on
he's
defense.
A monster.
He's going to make rule changes. Fucking draft him.
Yeah, they didn't count sacks till the year after he came in. I'll put it that way. Change some shit. So,
he's going to break legs.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
We're dealing with a Washington Redskin here in a second. Now, Ronnie Lott also drafted that year.
Is that right?
Ronnie Lott. Listen to this lineup. Ronnie Lott, Mike Singletary.
My God.
Dennis Smith, Bronco free safety. I think he's probably a Hall of Famer by now, too.
I don't think he is yet.
Howie Long, who we all know from TV.
My God, and this defense was stacked.
And your favorite, Chris Collinsworth, of course.
Fucking cunt.
We get to
I hate that man so much.
See your Skip Bayless?
I just can't stand his homerism, his bullshit, because he played for Cincy. So any time that the Denver Broncos play, he can't wait to run them down. The score could be 31-3. The game's long over in the third quarter, and he's like, listen, this is why Denver's not going to win this game. I'll fucking choke you, Chris.
Well, at least he's not frosting his hair blonde and going out and pretending he's a fucking thing. What is Skip Bayless's talent? Arguing with black people? Is that his talent? Hey, if you put a black guy next to me, I'll argue with him. Let's pay me $3 million a year
I'll figure out how to fucking take the point.
It's fine. I have no pride. I don't have any pride. It's fine. What do I care?
I don't have any pride. Look at my hair.
Integrity. I wipe my ass with integrity. I bleach my hair with integrity. Look at me. I'm a fucking moron. I love, by the way, this week when the Cowboys lost, news on there complaining about it.
Yeah.
Good.
Deal with it.
I don't like the Cowboys, but for business purposes, I had a cowboy lined up if they went to the Super Bowl for this, because I'm not fucking around. I know how to get listeners. So I had that. And seeing that, I went, you know what? I don't even give a fuck about my listeners. Screw you, Skip Bayless, you frosty-haired douchebag.
Stop ironing your face, you fuck.
You pile of frosted turd. I hate you. Jesus Christ.
All right. So Chris Collinsworth.
And Skip Bayless. We don't like either one of these people anyway. Skip Bayless has nothing to do with this draft, by the way. I don't know why he came up. I felt rage, and I went, I hate too. I hate too, Jimmy.
It's raging.
Washington, when they get to the 5th round, chooses Dexter.
All right.
5th round, number 119 overall by Washington.
That's not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick. Now, Washington that year really stacked. They had a. This is one of those drafts where they didn't get a quarterback or they didn't get anything like that, but they got pieces that meant a lot. They got Dexter Manley here. They got Russ Grimm early, who's a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, and also Joe Jacoby as a free agent after the draft, who's, again, a longtime Redskin, anchor of that offensive line. Only guy really to get drafted after Manley who was worth anything was Redskins wide receiver Charlie Brown.
How about that?
Yeah, he drafted. Also, Wade Wilson was there, but he sucked, so we're not going to talk about him. But yeah, the Redskins did really well that year. They got Charlie Brown, Dexter Manley, 2 big offensive linemen, not too shabby. He comes in 1981. He's a character from the start. He's the original. You know, in baseball you hear about Manny Ramirez. He's Manny being Manny. You always hear that thing. He's the original Dexter being Dexter. They used to say. That was their thing. That's Dexter being Dexter. Wow. He was a crazy. He's a gregarious guy. This is the thing about Dexter Manley. He sounds like a psychopath so far, but he's the most gregarious, happy, giggly, has this high pitch, like he laugh. He's like this happy, huge, smiley, giggly guy. And he's a complete disaster, though, anyway. But people like him. They wish he would shut up.
Yeah.
He likes to talk about opponents. And that obviously the coaches don't want you to talk shit about opponents. Like, hey, that's going to make them play harder. Stop doing that. But,
hey, fuckface.
Hey, fuckhead, stop.
I don't want the rest of my offensive line to have to be trying to shore up free safeties coming in and take off my quarterback's head.
No shit. So he's a right defensive end. Which, if you're not a football fan, he's on the defensive line, not the team with the ball on the line with the hand down. When the guy gets the ball to throw it, he's the guy trying to kill him. He's the guy twice his size trying to murder him from the backside. That's him. And he's a right defensive end, too, so he's coming from people's backsides, going up against left tackles.
Right.
He's a badass pass rusher. He plays in his 1981 season, plays 16 games, every game. He only starts 9 games, which they probably brought him in slowly and then had him start after that. They had to find out if he was any good. He's a 5th rounder. Who knows? 1982. This is amazing. Between the 81 and 82 season, they want to keep him out of trouble.
Yeah.
They're like, he's crazy, he's out there, he's a kid, he's going to get in trouble. Now he's got some money in his pocket. Let's calm this down.
We've got the refrigerator and the fucking locker room chained.
Absolutely. They're like, he's going to eat all our meat.
This guy's a monster.
All of our meat. Yeah. So to keep him out of trouble, they get him an off-season job.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, off-season job is as a deputy sheriff.
What?
Okay. Now, he was actually sworn in as a sheriff.
Who is he, Steven Seagal?
That's what I mean. Shaq did it, too. Yeah. He thought, he was like, I thought I was going to get a gun and I'd be running around Washington chasing people and shit.
You idiot.
No. But they deputized him, gave him a badge, and he actually had, like, responsibilities that he had to deal with. But he used it as a fun source. He had an orange Mercedes that he would put a police light in, and he would just pull people over and fuck with them like super troopers, basically. That's all he did.
Let's go play the meow game. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
what an asshole.
He would pull him over and just be like, hey, listen, you got to obey the laws of the land, and, only you can prevent forest fires, and he'd just do that kind of shit. And then just walk away, and they'd be like, was that Dexter Manley?
Did Dexter Manley just tell me to drown my fire?
Is that the dude the Redskins drafted? What the fuck? He had a badge, I think. I don't know what's going on here. Like, that had to be the most confusing. Like, imagine Super Troopers, but an NFL player recognized well in the city pulling a guy over and then doing that. They would be twice as confused.
With his high-voiced giggle.
Yeah, it's like, it was the weirdest shit, man.
Does he come up to the passenger side, like the blind side? He, runs up to the got your blind side, boy.
Gotcha. So, my God. So then the football season starts. In July, he stops being a deputy because the training camp starts. So he's got to obviously be he's
got responsibilities.
He's not a deputy once the season starts. Right. That's important. It's going to come up big later
But he'll
on.
file your paperwork for your missing cat after the playoffs.
Not quite. He'll do other shit, and we'll find out here. Now, 2 weeks into the season, the 82 season, a strike happens.
Oh, okay.
This is a player strike season. It's a very shortened season. The players and owners, they're out for 57 days.
Okay.
They come to an agreement finally on November 16th, 1982. The games were to resume that weekend, and they're just going to do it as a 9-game schedule. Okay. So if you look at NFL records, teams played 9 games in 82. They play 16 normally. Why? And 16 teams were going to be in the playoffs. Back then, there was way less teams, too. There was only 20-something teams. 16, and they called it a Super Bowl tournament. I guess because 9 games in football isn't enough to know if anybody's any good. There's teams that are 6-3 after 9 games that end up 10-6. So
right.
It's not, or they end up 6-10.
Week 10 is generally when you start
the good
talking
teams
about the playoffs because there could be a fucking fluke being 9-1 in week 10, and then they finish the season 9-7.
So they put them in the playoffs, get 16 teams in there, let them fight it out to the death here. The players in the strike won an increased minimum pay, and they also won a one-time $60 million payment, and then other benefits like retirement things, health things, that sort of shit.
One-time $60 million per player?
No. One-time $60 to all the players, just to make up
just to disperse it.
It's a back pay basically. Like,
is that like fucking $50 a person?
We've owed you this for a while, whatever. I think it goes to the union or something. Right. So November 24th, 1982, this is 8 days later when the football's going to start. He's had all this time off to do whatever he wants. Football starts again. He's arrested in the Washington suburbs when they pull him over, and he has temporary plates on his car. It's a new car, temporary plates, and the cop said it looked like the date was altered on the plates. Yeah. So they pull him over. He tries to get out of it by flashing his badge and saying he's a cop and it's okay. So he's arrested for impersonating an officer and altering the temporary plates in his car.
How much of a bitch does that? Oh God, that hurts so much.
Idiot.
Yeah,
what a fucking idiot. So
if I'm deputized, I'm going to figure that might work. I might try it, but
he quit on July 13th.
Oh, okay,
that's
so
the problem.
It's over. It's done.
If he did that in June, they would have been like, "Oh, okay, you're a deputy," but he's not anymore. He just still has the badge.
He should have probably said, a couple months ago, I was a deputy.
No, he tried to just be like,
he's just like, "Yo, man,
flash the badge and be like, it's cool, man. Go about your business.
It's all right.
Hey, look, police business. We all get it. I know. Listen.
Police business. I'm trying out a new TRP, trying out a new temporary plate.
Sometimes you're busy with your police work. Sometimes I'm busy with my police work. You know what I'm saying? Let's respect each other's territory. I feel like he was doing. The guy was like, "Get the fuck out of here. You're going to jail."
I was trying my penmanship.
You dumb son of a bitch.
I'm not good at reading and writing. I was trying to write a new 10 back there.
Read this ticket. Is everything correct? I don't know. Never mind. I'm a cop, and he's in jail.
So good.
This game, he plays in all 9 games that year, has 6.5 sacks in 9 games, which is great, 3 fumble recoveries, and an interception. He's a monster. It's only his second year. Team goes 8-1 that year.
And I think the lineman got an interception.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Probably a tip,
yeah.
I would think, things
but it's
like
still
that.
Pretty incredible.
Still great, yeah. Washington is nasty that year. Defense is nasty. So nasty, they go all the way to the Super Bowl through the Super Bowl tournament. And on January 30th, 1983 is the Super Bowl, and it's at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. 103,667 in attendance.
Holy shit.
That is a big crowd, man. That's amazing. It's the Redskins versus the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. And this is pre-Dan Marino Dolphins. They drafted Dan Marino that year.
Gotcha.
So they won't have Dan Marino for 3 more months when they draft him. So this is old-timey kind of stunted Dolphin offense, basically. It's a rematch of Super Bowl VII in the early 70s there, which the Dolphins won 14-7. You might want to look at Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72. He is at the Super Bowl during that. There's a big, long thing about it. It's very, awesome. Very funny shit. Anyway, John Riggins wins the MVP of that Super Bowl as 166 yards. If you've ever seen old NFL highlights, there's a highlight of him running. He's a white dude. He looks like... The best way to describe John Riggins would be he's a guy that you could invite over to help you with drywall, and he would just want beer.
Right.
He'd just be like, just get a 12-pack. He doesn't want any money.
He is a square of him. He looks just like a square. It's crazy how square he is.
There's an old clip of him. It's a white Redskins running back running, and basically he's running and he's breaking tackles, and somebody grabs his jersey and pulls it, and he like runs out of it and keeps going. It's like one of the most classic NFL highlights they showed in the beginning of everything.
Because you can't fucking wrap your arms around a square.
Yeah, he ran. That's true. He ran for 166 yards that day, which was a Super Bowl record and good for the MVP. The Redskins were actually also 3-point underdogs in that game.
Is that right?
They were 3-point underdogs. Dexter goes in and guarantees a win. He pulled a Joe Namath. He's a second-year player. He's not even the quarterback. He's a defensive end. And he goes to the press and said, I guarantee we're going to beat the Dolphins. So
it's like Leon Lett opening his stupid mouth.
They made a big deal out of it, and the coaches were like, you moron. Shut up. What are you doing?
Nobody wants to hear from a lineman, you dope. You can't even read and write.
So quarterback Joe Theismann, who you might know from television.
Called him a retard?
Quarterback Joe Theismann said, Dexter's a retard. He was brought up in the retard schools, and when that guy hit him with the box cutter, I'm mad it wasn't his throat. He said about him guaranteeing the victory, you'd think the teammates would be mad. This is kind of a loose team, though. He said, quote, it's Dexter. If he didn't say something, we would have probably been surprised. They're like, he's an idiot. Of course we expect that from him. During the game, he has a huge fumble on a sack when the Redskins are down 7-0 that changes the momentum of the entire game.
Oh, boy.
Blast the quarterback. The Redskins get possession of the ball. They end up winning 27-7.
Wow.
This game. They're 27-17, the Redskins do. Now, a little funny thing I like to do with the Super Bowl here, because we know what a big deal the halftime show and American Anthem are nowadays when they do it. Not such a big deal back in 1983.
I was looking at those recently, and I was thinking the same thing. When did this fucking become such a big deal?
It's nuts.
And it was fairly recent.
It was recent. It really was. It was like Michael Jackson's Super Bowl with the Bills and Dolphins, or Bills and Cowboys, I think. Now, the halftime show that year was... Wow. Quote, Bob Janney Productions presents Kaleido Super Scope with the L.A. Super Drill Team.
I wouldn't stick around.
Who's watching
Fuck that.
That's what I mean. That's not
the
getting...
halftime show was not a halftime show.
That's not getting ratings, I don't think, on that one.
And I'll bet that guy had to fucking pay to be in it.
Oh, yeah, probably.
He did.
Back then, they just thought, that's a good act that'll entertain. I don't know who was booking this shit back then, but apparently nobody who knows anything of going on. No, let's get, someone who's big in 1983. Let's get Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
No, I don't think so.
We're going to get somebody
Michael Jackson?
with the word production in their fucking name.
Kaleido Super Scope with the L.A. Super Drill Team. There's two supers in that title. Bullshit.
That's why they did it. They're like, this is the Super Bowl. We're getting everybody that has super in it.
It's like an Asian buffet.
Super Dave Osborne's going to get shot out of a fucking cannon.
It's like a Chinese buffet. we just put super in the title a whole bunch, and people will come. They like it.
Holy shit.
Now, on his play, Dexter thought he was a bad son of a bitch back then. Yeah. And we have an in their own words on that. A lot of in their own words. I had to stop. It was another one where I'm like, I can't take all these in their own words. I got to pick and choose. So many. He said, quote, in their own words, quote, to be very frank with you, I'm in the top 5. I'm believing in myself. I have confidence.
Top 5 player in the league?
Top 5 defensive players in the league.
Okay.
Which, pass rusher-wise,
he might be right.
He's not wrong, probably. 1983 season, he plays all 16 games, starts all 16 games, gets 11 sacks. which is a beast. That's nasty. Team goes 14-2 that year.
Good God.
Smoking team. That was kind of the hogs, those offensive linemen, the hogs. I don't know if you remember. Guys would dress like pigs in the stands in Washington. They still do. That's why they're doing it, because they called the offensive line the hogs, because they were just these.
I think, you know what? There was a story that came out fairly recently. Those guys gave up their season tickets.
Yeah.
There was like 4 of them or whatever.
They were pissed.
They were pissed that they sucked.
The team
and
sucked.
they're like, fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna dress up in this bullshit in freezing weather to come watch this team get their ass kicked.
And pay $300 a pop for it. No thanks. On that offensive line, there's a guy named Dave Butts. And if you ever just look up a picture of Dave Butts, and he's like, should be poster boy for concussion protocol in the NFL. He never put on a different helmet or let them fix his helmet or logo. So his helmet had huge gouges in it and chunks taken out of the logo. Because the offensive lineman, the first thing they used to do was butt heads with the defensive lineman on every play. Yeah. He just wouldn't let them fix his helmet up. So that way he would show he was tough. It was his way of whatever.
It's probably that and a little bit of the fucking like baseball players wearing dirty socks. You know what I mean? What's that word I'm looking for?
Superstition.
So
it's
that's
a superstition,
the word,
probably. The Redskins go back to the Super Bowl that year, January 22nd, 1984, Super Bowl 18 against the Raiders.
Yeah,
that year. And it's in Tampa Stadium, Tampa, Florida. 73,000 in attendance. Redskins are 3-point favorites this time. The Raiders, this is those Raiders team with Marcus Allen and Jim Plunkett
so
and
badass.
Howie Long. That was those teams.
It bums me out that they were so badass.
Yeah. This was the year where the Apple, the famous 1984 commercial, the Apple Macintosh commercial, the computer commercial. It's like one of the most famous commercials in the history of advertising. It only aired once. It aired during this Super Bowl.
Is that right?
Yeah, this was the Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl that it aired on. Barry Manilow sang the national anthem.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Imagine him crooning that out.
That's so sad.
Well, it's better than nothing, what they had before.
Yeah, but that's not a fucking...
They probably had some
at least it's
8-year-old kid who won a contest the year before, so at least it's something. The halftime show was, quote, salute to the superstars of the silver screen.
Again, super.
Super, but that sounds boring as shit. That's the halftime show? What was that, anyway?
Salute to the superstars of the silver screen. You're gonna parade some fucking actors out there? That's entertainment?
I feel like they brought John Wayne out to the 50, and he waved and turned around, and they were like, and now this guy, and they waved and turned around.
A bunch of people with emphysema walked out there and fucking walked back out.
Not great for ratings here. Marcus Allen is the MVP with 191 rushing yards, which is a new record that year, and leads the Raiders to a 38-9 win that day.
My God.
It's known as Black Sunday because the Raiders were black, so they owned that day.
Unbelievable.
They crushed them. On Dexter's playing, teammate Charles Mann. Charles Mann was another defensive lineman, and these two were the opposite of each other, basically. Manley was crazy and wild and all this shit, and like Manley was like he talked like this. He was a black guy, but he spoke like this, damn it. And he was like, listen here, pal. Like, he was one of these guys. He did chunky soup commercials. That's good chunky soup.
Is that right?
He was number 71, and Manley was number 72.
Okay,
they were on the line, and so Charles Mann, it seems like a really smart guy. Everything you hear him say, he sounds very intelligent. He says about Dexter Manley, Dexter liked to sack the quarterback, didn't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
He said, quote, Dexter did not care about the run. He would tell me, quite frankly, they pay me to get sacks. Dexter was smart, though, because you really get fanfare for the sacks.
Yeah,
so he knew what he was doing with that, and that's what he wanted to do. He's a showman, this guy. 1984, plays in 15 games, 13 and a half sacks. Beastly.
Wow.
Team goes 11-5.
Almost a sack a game.
Yeah, they lose early in the playoffs. His sacking he really is a beast of a pass rusher. Yeah. This guy was a great pass rusher. If he could have kept his shit together, he really could have been one of the all-time great pass rushers. And he was still a great pass rusher. He's in the Washington Ring of Honor and all that type of thing. Now, 1985. And during this season, we have a Monday Night Football game. This is an extremely famous game. Please look it up on YouTube. Theismann broken leg is all you need to look up. This is when Lawrence Taylor snapped Joe Theismann's leg like a wishbone. It was amazing.
It's beautiful.
Comes around, grabs him about the top half. Theismann tries to lean away, and his leg gets stuck in the ground. And Taylor just says, "No, I'm going to pull you this way." Right. And just pulls him so hard that it snaps his leg in half. That's how hard he pulled him to the ground.
You can hear it snap.
It wasn't one of these where someone landed on him.
No.
Literally, he with LT's torque, he broke this guy's leg.
From his hips.
Insane. Insane. Look that up on YouTube. It's horrible and disgusting, and there's a bone sticking out of his leg. It's one of the grossest football injuries in the history of the league.
His leg goes sideways on national television.
It's horrible. He's freaking out. You even see Lawrence Taylor freaking out. Like, oh, my God. Imagine
like pointing at
imagine you're that coked up and you see that. You're like, ah!
What the fuck?
Oh, my God. There's a bone sticking out. Holy shit. I'm going to do a line off it. No, wait. I mean, never mind. Paramedics.
He's got a line on his leg. It's a fat-ass rail.
Now, Dexter saw this broken leg, and it freaked him out.
Really?
And it freaked him out watching it happen because he says, in their own words about this, quote, I was standing on the sideline and watched Lawrence Taylor take out Joe Theismann, and I was petrified. I said, what if that happened to me? What am I going to do? I'm 28 years old, and I couldn't even spell about. I took a test, and the lady told me I was at a second grade reading level. I was functionally illiterate.
Hilarious.
So that's hilarious. This guy he's petrified to lose his livelihood, and he can't even read. Nothing is funnier than that.
He's fucking about and can't even spell it.
Can't even spell it. He has no idea how to do it. He'd love to make up a T-shirt, but he doesn't know how to. Now, 85 season, he had a great season that season on the field. 15 sacks in 16 games. Again, that's huge, man. That's LT numbers.
Yeah.
And during that time, it was since like they started recording sacks in 82, it was like Lawrence Taylor or Dexter Manley were 1 and 2 going back and forth.
And when you think about, like, the guys that get sacks now, it's not the sack that it was then. Because then it was fucking pummeling the quarterback. The quarterback was taking hard shots.
And the defensive lineman could take cheap shots. They could head slap.
Right.
Manley said he used to take, he had his hand down, he'd hold some dirt in his hand, and when he came up, he'd throw it in the offensive lineman's face sometimes. He said that was even one of his strategies. He's like, I'll throw it in the face. He's like, refs never saw it, though. What? Throw it in the face.
That is unbelievable.
So funny the way he did it. He's like, pah, I'll throw it in the face. It was really, really funny. Team goes 10-6, no playoffs that year. Mm-hmm. Now, early 1986, Manley.
Real quickly, take that, Kansas City, because Kansas City, every year that they go 10-6 and don't make the playoffs, they want to fucking change the rules. Let's get 3 fucking wild cards from a division.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Kansas City.
Go to hell, Kansas City.
Eat shit.
And then they go this year and they lose
and
right away.
What?
So
Fucking
that's what you get, Kansas
one
City.
And done. Eat shit, you
They've
bastards.
always been like that.
I hate them so much.
Since Steve DeBerg was their quarterback, they've been in the first round
and
bouncer.
Always bitching.
Always bounced in the first round. Now, early 1986, Manley enters drug rehab. Mm-hmm. He's got a little bit of a problem that's going to come up a lot through his career. He likes the cocaine.
Of course he does.
Really, really likes the cocaine.
Because he can afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good time, apparently, for him. Now, as a part of this rehab, he's supposed to write a journal every day and share it with the group.
When did he start the coke? Do we have that? Because I have a feeling that he started it when he was a deputy and he got the keys to the evidence room and he's like, what's in this shit?
He says, from what he says, and we don't know if this is true, he says that during the 1982 season, he went home with a lady, some woman he met, and he said she was real sexy and she came out wearing like, G-string panties and all this shit, and she had cocaine. And so he was like, yeah, all right, blah, blah, blah. He says that's how it got started. To me, he's trying to pick what's the way where it makes me look least responsible.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just a young guy wanting some woman, and she had it. And
here's the thing.
I don't believe anything he says.
Here's the thing that ruins that argument. When you're an NFL star and you make all kinds of money, that chick's impressed by you. You don't have to do shit to impress her.
I don't believe anything this guy says basically here. So obviously he's supposed to write a journal every day in drug rehab. Mm-hmm. Clearly he can't. That's not going to happen at all. So
how about teach him first?
How about teach him something? So he tells his wife at this point that he's illiterate. She didn't know. She finds a school for him to go to, the Washington Lab School. No, he hid it from everybody. He has a wife, Glinda, at this point.
Hey, baby, write these checks.
That's what it is. And the kids later on, too, his kids say that they remember that, he would get something that needed to be read and he'd hand it to the wife always. He always handed it to Glenda there to say, oh, here, you take it. And they just thought, oh, well, she handles this. But then now they were like, oh, because he can't read. That's why.
Wrap this gift. Now write Santa on it.
Write Santa. I don't know how to write it. I wrote Satan. I don't know. I got some letters right, but it's just backwards. It's not going to have the same message.
From Satan. That's weird.
Why did Satan give me a Nintendo? I don't understand it. So,
oh my God, that's amazing.
Joe Theismann says of Dexter Manley's illiteracy, he says, quote, Dexter had the last locker before he walked out to the practice field. I was walking out one day and he was reading a newspaper. Something didn't look right. I walk back and he's reading the Wall Street Journal upside down. I mean, dude.
That's a guy trying to impress his friends.
You know what numbers are.
Yeah.
Well, he said he would, when he first came into the Redskins later on, he said, I would walk in, I'd buy the Wall Street Journal and put it under my arm just because I wanted to be different. He said, I didn't want everybody to think that I was just some dumb football. I wanted everyone to be like, ooh, look at him. He's mysterious. He reads the wall. He's got a stock portfolio.
Right.
1982, the football players.
Down.
And it's upside down. So kind of ruining his whole vibe here.
Like, there's just a stereotypical dummy.
Yeah, another teammate said, quote, we'd go out to eat and Dexter'd say, what are you having? And I'd tell him and he'd say, yeah, I'll have the same thing because he couldn't read the fucking menu. He couldn't read the menu, guys. I mean,
how do you not pick up on this shit?
Dude,
at some
steak,
point, somebody's
hamburger,
like,
you think you just recognize words after a while. It's
even worse.
Crazy.
Like, at some point, your teammate's got to go, motherfucker, I haven't seen you read a thing ever.
Also, too, don't you eat what you want to eat? Don't you have a craving for something? Why you always crave what I crave? What is up with that?
That's really weird.
Stalking me or some shit? So
I get the mushroom burger minus mushrooms. Why are you getting the same thing?
What is going on?
That's a weird order.
It's
you don't realize that?
It's very strange. Oh, you know that? I just want the flavor on the bun. I said, put it on, then wipe it off. You said the same thing. It doesn't make any sense.
That's so weird.
During the 1986 here, after all this insanity here, this is before the season, Dexter's in a Garfinkel's department store in the Washington suburbs, and he passes out. You'd think cocaine. Holy shit. That's probably way too much cocaine. No,
diabetes?
Worse. He's taken to Georgetown Hospital, and they find a cyst on his brain about the size of a quarter.
Oh my God.
So it's the size of a quarter, so they're like, let's wait and see, because it's not malignant or anything. They're like, let's take... It's not a tumor, it's a cyst. They say, let's take a wait-and-see approach and see if it grows, or we don't want to go diving into your brain if it's not going to change, basically, if it doesn't affect you. Meanwhile, he's passing out in department stores, so it is affecting him.
Kind of affecting him.
He's supposed to return every 6 months for an MRI. Do you think he's going back every 6 months for an MRI? Of course he's not. He's a fucking moron. 1986, he has his best season. Best season by far. 16 games started, all the games, 18 and a half sacks that year.
My God.
Monstrous Pro Bowl, first team All-Pro. Would have been Defensive Player of the Year, but Lawrence Taylor had the best season in the history of football that year. So, sorry.
Sorry, man.
He had 21 and a half sacks and just was a dominant force, intercepting passes, and that's peak Lawrence Taylor there. He's a first-team All-Pro, like I said. Team goes 12-4, but they lose in the NFC Championship to that Giants team with LT on them.
Deal with that.
They roughed him up in that game. I remember that game. It was cold. It was in New York, in the Meadowlands, wind blowing, cold and shitty and nice.
Is that them beating the Bills in the Super Bowl?
No, that is 86. That's when they beat the Broncos.
Okay,
That's when Phil McConkey catch off Mark Bavaro's hands. And
I'm familiar.
I know you are. You'll be familiar with this next year's Super Bowl also then. The 87 season comes along. Once again, 2 games in, there's a strike. And they called it they said they were calling a 24-day strike. So they knew, I don't know how you can know how long a strike's going to last. That defeats the purpose of that. Week 3 games were canceled completely. And then when it wasn't resolved by week 4, they brought in replacement players.
All right.
Have you ever seen the replacements with Keanu Reeves? This is the bullshit they were coming off of, basically. Weeks 4 and 5 were played with replacement players, which were just cast-offs from the USFL or the CFL, or one of the CFL teams had just dissolved. So they got all their guys. They got some USFL, whatever.
Scrubs just to fucking try to fill seats.
15
salvage a season.
Yeah, 15% of because they're losing money. They lost a fortune. 15% hemorrhaging.
It's like a river, that money.
Oh yeah, it was in the I think it was $200 to $300 million they lost during the strike.
My God.
Yeah. Now 15% of the actual players crossed the picket line.
Oh, is that right?
These shitheads here, these non-fucking...
Is it Dexter?
No, Dexter stayed out. It was Joe Montana, Doug Flutie, Steve Largent, Mark Gastineau.
Wow.
All the Playboy types, all the pretty boy types.
All the guys that need money.
All the guys with endorsements already and shit like that, now, the season was shortened to 15 games that year. Okay. We'll get to how that season ended. But during that season, Mike Ditka throws gum at a San Francisco fan. There was a piece of gum at him for talking shit to him. Mike Ditka, the old Bears coach, he's on television. He's a real tough guy. Hey, what are you doing? This
takes
guy
a lot to get a piece of gum out of that man's mouth.
Yeah, he likes his gum. So they asked a bunch of NFL players about that because it was a big deal. They threw a head coach threw a piece of gum at a fan. Yeah. So Manley called him a bum. He called Mike Ditka a bum in the paper. That. So Mike Ditka said, "Oh, that guy's got the IQ of a grapefruit."
He called him a retard.
Yes, exactly. Now, number one, that's the perfect piece of fruit to call somebody to. But number two, if Mike Ditka's calling you dumb, have you ever heard Mike Ditka speak? If he's calling you a retard, you're a retard. And I mean retard. I don't even mean anything else. That's horrible.
I saw him on the NFL Network in a fucking mock turtleneck with a zipper, and the zipper is up, the turtleneck's up, and then he's got a sport coat over that.
He doesn't care.
He's fucking dumb.
He's a crazy person, man. He's an IQ of a grapefruit.
And he called him a grapefruit.
He called him the IQ of a grapefruit.
While he was chewing gum. Yeah. He was smacking away.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah, he's a grapefruit. He's like Norm Macdonald's Burt Reynolds impersonation on Saturday Night Live. That's how he talks all the time. Yeah, all right. That guy, he's a grapefruit. He's at the IQ of a grapefruit. Yeah. So Manley, next game against the Bears in the '87 season, Manley has a giant game, sacks the shit out of Jim McMahon. Yep. He actually plays the run that game. He's screaming at the Chicago sideline to run at him. Run at me, Mike Ditka. Run at me. Send him over here, and he dominates the game. Yeah. So I mean, when he puts his mind to it,
this grapefruit is a badass.
And well, he also he had T-shirts made up. Someone else must have given the order. I'm sure his wife gave the order because it says grapefruit, the breakfast of champions. And a picture of a grapefruit, which is hilarious. But there's about 3 words there that I know he can't spell. So. Pretty sure he had someone else put the order in there. I'm going to go...
Grapefruit breakfast and champions. No fucking way he can spell those.
I'm going to say breakfast he'd definitely know how to spell. It's a break fat. No way. No, he might have got champion because he's seen it on hats and T-shirts a lot.
He's looking at his ring to spell it.
Yeah. What's that, champ? Let's see if he holds on to that ring.
Which one's champion? Point that one out.
He does have a ring for now. We'll get into that.
Oh, great.
Now. Well, he's going. The '87 season is again a strike-shortened season. Like we said, they had 11 games total that he was in that the main guys were playing. He played in 10 of the games, had 8.5 sacks, so he's still good. Team goes 11-4. They go through the playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl. January 31st, 1988, Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, about 73,000 in attendance. Herb Alpert did the national anthem.
What?
He's a Spanish horn guy from the 60s.
I have no idea who that is.
He's great at that. If you like old Spanish music from the 60s, he's got a cool vibe.
He's the cool Esteban of that time.
I don't think he sings though. It's weird. And now the halftime show was Chubby Checker and the Rockettes.
What?
All of these shows are for people that are 80.
Not just that, but they're combining 100. 2 acts that don't even know each other.
Well, I think Chubby Checker came out, sang some shit, did the twist, and then he left, and then the Rockettes came and did some kicks, and then they brought it. What kind of entertainment is that? It's not entertainment.
The Rockettes came out and kicked to fucking Santa's red-nosed reindeer or some shit?
Did. No, I think Chubby Checker did the twist. He's the twist. So they came out and kicked to the twist.
They kicked to that
Maybe he said do the kick, and then they kicked. I don't know. He might have changed the words. I don't think they performed together.
Anytime I think of the Rockettes, I just think of some winter wonderland play.
Yeah.
That's all it
Christmas.
is.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in fucking slutty Santa outfits.
Washington crushes Denver in the Super Bowl, as I remember. It was brutal. I didn't like them that year. That was the Doug Williams, first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. That was a big deal. Timmy Smith had a giant 220-yard game, that unknown running back. Washington wins 42-10. It was ugly, though. I remember that. It was an extremely ugly Super Bowl. 1988 season, he's still with Washington. Jeez. Only 9 sacks that season, which still...
It's still pretty impressive. He's tapering it off, but it's still
9
impressive.
Sacks isn't bad because you figure a sack could go either way. One guy, he stumbles or another guy hits him.
Right. He could get half sacks a bunch of times, and that's still great.
A guy just dumps the ball off, and that would have been a sack, things like that. Team goes 7-9, so that's not great.
No.
1989, he can read now. 89, he's reading at a 9th grade level.
Wow.
At this was good for him. That's not
decent.
bad. He says he will donate $250 every single sack he makes this year to a children's literacy fund.
That's nice.
Good for you, Dexter. That's nice.
He cares about the kids.
What a nice guy. In 1989, he's also brought before a Senate committee. He is brought into the Senate of the United States.
3 years ago, he couldn't read.
And that's what they want to talk to him about. They want to talk to him about why colleges and high schools are letting people skate through who can't read based on their athletic prowess.
That's a Senate hearing? It should take you 10 minutes to know why.
This is like the steroid hearing. Yeah. We're going to bring in Mark McGuire, and we need a whole panel of congressmen to know if he did steroids.
Why is your head giant?
Yeah. Why are you a giant orange lunatic? Why is that? What the fuck? Why are your forearms the size of my thigh? Can you explain that to me, sir? Pretty quick hearing, I think.
How many curls does it take to get that? It doesn't. It takes a fucking couple of vials of this.
It's not creatine, asshole. So they go in and they hear, and Dexter cries. He says he couldn't read. He cried. There's senators crying, like, oh, this poor guy. They all come out. I saw an interview with Harry Reid, who's a current senator in Nevada and was the leader of the Democratic whatever, and he said that he was just heartbreaking to see him in there, and it was, he was so brave for coming forward and all this type of shit. So that now he's a hero at this point for 19. He's a brave guy. He came out. He said he couldn't read. He shed light on the problem of illiteracy, and he went and talked about it in front of the entire nation. So
did we solve the problem?
Well,
the problem is there's fucking money to be made. That's the problem.
Well, November 1989, he fails his third drug test and is suspended for life from the league. So that's how great of a...
Thank God for the Senate.
The Senate had him in there. He was the greatest guy in the world for like a month and a half, and the next thing you know, you're out forever.
As soon as the tears dry, he's fucking gone forever.
Yep, fails his third drug test. He's gone from the league, suspended for life at that point. And in November of '89, cuts the '89 season short for him. He only played in 10 games because there was another 5-6 left on the schedule. He had 9 sacks in those 10 games. So
That's
he still could play.
He's still fucking on top of his game.
Now, I think the Senate thing really gave him some cachet, though, because he's banned for life at this point. And November 1990, 1 year later, he is reinstated by Paul Tagliabue, who is a hardcore silver-haired middle-aged man, obviously. He's like, we need to get this guy back in here.
We need stars in the NFL.
We need stars. He's been busted 3 times for cocaine, but let's give him another chance here. So
and for fucking impersonating a police officer.
Yeah, and that was just dumb. I think they looked at it like, he's 23.
He couldn't read, for fuck's sake.
He couldn't read, but he could alter a temporary license plate. He knows his numbers.
He hired somebody to do that. He threw somebody a 20 and said, write a date that's beyond that one.
Whenever an adult says they can't read, I always feel like it's like in the 1800s and people were like, I've been lettered since I was 4. And I always feel like it's that, like, I'm not lettered. Like, it was like one of those things.
It's that and I don't know how to swim. Those are the two that I'm just like, where the fuck were you raised?
Move your arms.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Were you raised by wolves?
That is not a black joke, by the way. It's purely coincidental. Purely coincidental.
Just any adult that can't swim. It's like, what the fuck were you doing your whole life?
So 1990, nobody wants him in 1990 because he's suspended constantly, but one team gives him a shot. It's the Phoenix Cardinals.
Of course.
Phoenix Cardinals had just moved to Phoenix 2 years before that and just needed something because no one here gave a shit about this team in Phoenix. They played at ASU, which is a big dump with benches seats. It doesn't even have seats. It has benches.
Benches,
without even backs
bleachers.
On it. Bleachers, that's what I meant.
Steel
bleacher seats.
Fucking bleachers.
With no backs.
In 110 degrees.
Good luck with that shit.
Oh, it was the worst.
This was a terrible team, too. They were 5-11. Coach Joe Bugle.
Oh, my God, Bugle then.
This was Tim Rosenbaugh was the quarterback.
Oh, my God.
Johnny Johnson was their number one.
They don't even have
back.
Ricky Prohl yet.
Ricky Prohl is their number one receiver. Their best receiver is white. He's fucking white.
Not just white, with a blonde fucking mullet.
I'm pretty sure Johnny Johnson was white, too. At least half white. You can't have a running back and a receiver that are white and be your top thing and expect to win in the NFL. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
Ricky Prohl was like
That's reality. Fucking reality, guys. No way. No way. Not happening.
He was like a tiny Brian Bosworth. He was fast. He could catch.
Little blonde mullet coming out of the back of his hair.
He's a white guy. That's it. He's so fucking flimsy. He's a coach now, I believe.
Ricky Prohl?
I think he's a wide receivers coach.
He was around forever. He went and played for the Rams on those great Rams teams in the early 2000s there, late 90s.
The greatest show on turf.
Exactly. 1991, he goes and plays for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Oh, my God. Now he's bouncing around.
Dog days of the Bucks, too. This is back when they had the white uniforms with the peach fucking guy who looked like he was coming on to you on the side of the helmet with a knife in his teeth.
It looked like Donald Trump in drag. That's what it looked like.
That's a good point. Yeah. The guy on their helmet looked like...
fucking knife in his teeth.
He looked like he was just looking at everybody going, hey, big guy, how you doing? Hey, you.
Hey, fella.
Hey, fella.
What you got in your pants?
I like that. I like the cut of your jeans, mister.
I'll grab you by the pussy.
One of those. Yeah.
I'll grab you by the man pussy.
By the man pussy. Good God.
This fucking magician beard and mustache. So fucking wow.
And so with his hat.
Blatantly homoerotic.
Oh, it was so homoerotic. I feel like that's why the team lost so much. They just didn't feel confident about themselves.
Can we get a mascot for like the locker room? Yeah, I can design one of those.
Yeah, he's just going to stand in the corner and leer. That's our leer with a look on his face and a knife in his teeth.
Creepiest fucking thing.
So he's been making over $1 million a year for the Redskins here for a while. He makes $700,000 this year with the Bucs. They start him, they pick him for a whole season. He's from the beginning.
A third of his income. That's not so bad.
Not so bad here. 14 games played, 7 starts. He has
but you can buy a lot of Coke with $300,000.
Can. Yeah. It's $700,000 here. Oh, the 300.
The 300 he's missing out on.
That's just Coke money. Yeah. Well, or no, that's money he was going to give to his children or something else. I would believe.
For some charity for all the sacks he was going to get.
By the way, his son was born in the late '80s. There, Dexter Manley the second, which we all know is a fucking junior. So don't bullshit me. Keep that second shit. Put it away. You're a junior.
Put your Roman numerals right up your fucking ass.
Hands behind your back and call yourself junior because you're going to get arrested. And just that's it. Sorry.
So beautiful.
So the team goes 3-13 that year. Awful team. Their coach Richard Williamson was fired after this 1 year. He never head coached again. Yeah. He was offensive coordinator for the 2000 and 2001 Carolina Panthers. It's the only time I ever.
Was it Testaverde, the quarterback then?
Vinny Testaverde, right. Reggie Cobb was their runner. Broderick Thomas was their. Yeah,
what
it
was
a shit
team.
Keith McCants back then. Who you watched the Broke documentary, the ESPN 30 for 30 broke athletes. Yeah. Keith McCants is on there, and he's clearly on a lot of pills. He's just slurring. He's like, I'll just do this. You're like, well, dude, what are you on, bro? Right. Get off. You're on camera, asshole.
You guys said you're giving me $40 for this interview, right?
You can give it to me, right? So Reggie Cobb led the team with 752 yards rushing. So that tells you what kind of shit team that is. December of 1991, end of November, Dexter fails another drug test. He has been banned for life. They let him back in again.
This one I can understand. When your team goes 3-13, you might need a rail or two.
He said he did coke in a hotel room, and it was just one time, which is full of shit. Here's his quote on the final suspension. In their own words, quote, "It wasn't even a $15 high to blow $1 million career. I'm a con man, a manipulator, a liar, and a cheat, but I'm not a druggie. I used to be, but I'm not. It hurts to know that the country thinks Dexter Manley is destitute on drugs. I busted my ass to get my pride and self-respect back. What a price I have to pay. I don't believe this has happened."
I love the first part of that statement where he's like, "I'm a con man, I'm a thief, and I'm a liar." Now listen to the rest of what I'm about to say. What?
He said the next.
I don't want to hear another word, sir.
"I'm a con man, I'm a manipulator. A liar, and a cheat. And a cheat."
Now, trust what I'm about to say.
But here's a statement that I'd like you to believe. Okay, sure, Dexter.
I'm out.
We're all buying that shit.
And by the way, there was facts in there that were fucking false anyway.
Completely.
A $15 high to blow $1 million career. Nope. $700,000, sir.
Yeah,
not even $1 million.
So, yeah, you're lying all over the place, Dexter. I don't believe anything you said.
I can prove everything you're saying is going to be a lie because you just lied to me.
He made multiple millions. Maybe that was his thought process on it. But I think he was it sounded better. Yeah. A $15 high to take away $1 million. It would have sounded not as fun if it said a $15 high to take away a $700,000 career. They would have said, that could have been snappier, I think.
I think you're still high, Dexter.
You don't know. You don't make bumper stickers, do you? It's not very snappy. Over the course of his career, 143 games, because he's done in the NFL now. Yeah. This is it for that. 97.5 sacks, which is fantastic.
My God.
That's top tier. That's really, really excellent. There's not a lot of guys who have
that's
in the
Hall of Fame
sack
status
level.
Career.
Absolutely. It's close. It really is. Dexter, by 1992
if it weren't for that pesky banning.
Damn banning. Keep banning me.
Goddamn cocaine.
So next year, 1992, Dexter's wife, they're to the point where Dexter's wife will not let him leave the house with more than $10 in his pocket. Oh. He is being monitored by her.
She knows.
I picture him rolling up a 20 and sticking it up his ass to get out of the house like he's in prison. You know what I mean? He's got a 20 jammed in his crack just in case. You never know.
That one hurt. Jesus, that hurt.
She made him. Jimmie loves it when you jam money up somebody's ass. It was funny
to me because I saw it happen.
Like the visual? Like him in the bathroom? Like, I'm going to shove this up my ass quick.
We're talking about Coke, and you roll up bills to do Coke, so I didn't know where you were going, and then you just went with jam.
For later. He needs it. What if I need to get high?
It was surprising. Jesus. It was sneaky.
She makes him empty his pockets, takes all his credit cards and shit like that. Like tries to send him out.
Sounds like an untrusting wife.
You know he's got money up his ass. Do you blame her for Christ's sake? I don't blame her at all.
She's got all the reason in the world. It's just like.
Yeah, she was so. She said there's a big thing about when he got the last test, basically that he failed. She said she's just this whole thing about where she's so embarrassed and she can't believe it, and he, embarrassed his whole family, and everybody believed in him, and we were trying, and he couldn't stop, and he was just she basically said, "You were sober for a year. You know how to be sober. Why can't you do this?" Basically,
because he wasn't.
Because he wasn't sober, but. In 1992, let me ask you a question, Jimmy. Let's say you've been in the NFL.
Okay.
Let's say you've done horrible things.
Yeah.
You've failed a bunch of drug tests. Where do you go when the NFL doesn't want you anymore?
You know, when I get really lonely, I like to call my family and go home.
No. He goes to Canada to play football because that's what every complete NFL disaster does.
Where's
the Canadians
the
don't give a shit. They're like, I've heard of him. Sign him up. Hey? So he signs with the Ottawa Rough Riders of the CFL. Ooh, he'll make between $70,000 and $80,000 while he's there. So that's a 90% pay cut. Dexter will be the subject of random drug tests as part of his contract, which seems reasonable. Also, too, he has a column for the Ottawa Sun, which he says, quote, a guy sort of helped me write. No shit, he did.
I was just going there.
You are very limited in your reading and writing.
Well, you're making $80,000 a year. Are you paying him or is the Sun paying you?
Apparently, this is common for when athletes have articles. They have a
ghostwriter.
He'll have an idea, like, I want to talk about this and that and blah, blah, blah. And
they're like, all right, I'll write it.
Put it in sentences that human beings can read.
We'll talk about this and that. I'll go talk about this and that.
I'll figure it out. Yeah. He also hosts a radio show in Ottawa then, and he'll keep hosting and coming on to radio shows later on. Now, he's excited to be in Ottawa.
Yeah.
He says, quote, in their own words about this, quote, I never thought in a million years that I'd be playing again. I've lost my rights in the NFL. This is the next best thing. He's basically saying, can you believe how stupid these fucking people are? It's incredible. They gave me 4 chances. I fucked them all up.
4 months of the year, this place is covered in coke.
Covered in it. I'm going to give it a shot. It might be good. We'll never know. I'm going to snort
He's
Canada.
So dumb he would try it.
Snort my way from here to Saskatoon. Think I can't. So September 92... You barely can read. You got kicked out of the league. You're playing in the NFL. What do you release a book, of course. You need to release a book called Educating Dexter.
Oh, my God.
It came out about his reading struggles and all that type of shit. There's an article in October of 1992 about how Dexter can read now. They make a big deal about how he reads the menu at Hula Hands with no trouble.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a thing where he's like, I'll take this burger, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, wait, hold on a second. I changed my mind. I'd like this burger, but without that. See, I read it on the menu.
Yeah.
They're very, Hula Hand, I think there's pictures on the fucking menu at Hula Hands, first of all. But he's very impressed by the Hula Hands menu. He claims he has not done cocaine since February of 92. He's good. He's clean. 2 sons and a daughter. He's ready to face the world.
It's just awesome that they put an article out bragging that he can read.
There's a million articles about, hey, he's literate now. Isn't this great? Because they're promoting the book.
That's so fucking amazing.
The book. They have to show, look, he reads.
Ridiculous.
And now he wrote a book. He just learned how to read. Now he wrote a book.
I wish that people gave so much shit about me that they'd write some article when I learned some new trade.
You just learned anything.
Jimmie learned how to draw dicks really well.
Jimmie learned what the capital of Spain was. So we're going to...
Jimmie's so good at geography, he entered a geography bee.
Jimmie's found out what the scrum was in rugby. Now he's going to write a book about it. That's what it basically is. If we said, no, we know about rugby, let's write a book about it. He knows how to read, he can write now.
We're going to fucking write shit about it. That's so crazy.
Now, on his drug problem, Dexter Manley said in their own words, quote, my kids mean more than drugs, but not all the time. I get that first hit, and drugs are more important. I never escalated. I didn't freebase. I didn't inject. I just snorted.
What the fuck? This
is his I've been snorting everything, but I didn't inject it. I love that. For sometimes, but not all the time. Sometimes I really want to do coke.
My kids are everything to me.
Unless there's coke.
There's coke in your body.
You got any coke on you? No? All right, then I love my kids.
That is amazing.
So 1993, despite having a terrible year with Ottawa where he wasn't ready to play, they re-signed him, okay? Teammates are publicly speaking out about this. I was watching all these interviews with Canadian guys. It was hilarious. Offensive lineman Glenn Kulka of the team said, quote, we still don't feel that he's going to fit into our system, and I still truly believe that, but time will only tell. And our management, or the ownership, I should say, has made the decision to give him a shot. Now that he's here, all we can do is give him a shot. Those fucking idiots here ruining everything.
They hired him.
What are we going to do? I guess run him out there. Whatever. So
that is a long way to say talk to my boss.
Talk to the I don't know shit.
I didn't hire him.
We have an in their own words on re-signing with Ottawa. Quote, in their own words from Dexter, quote, last year I failed. This year I won't fail. It's sort of like Rocky number 2. He didn't fail that last one. He failed the first one, but he didn't fail the second. I won't fail this one. You can take that to the bank.
Except for you told me that you're a liar, a con man, and a cheat.
I'd like to refer back to I am a con man, a manipulator, a liar, and a cheat. So anytime you hear anything, have those words ringing in your head here. 1993, same year with Ottawa, ownership demands that the coaches play Manley, and so the defensive line coach, Jim Daly, and defensive coordinator, Mike Roach, both quit in protest. I'm sure they found work as like a curling coach or something. There's like 8 football teams up there, and they're like, I quit. Like, that's pretty ballsy, dude. I don't know. Not a lot going on. I think I'd stick with it, bro. I think you just take
manage it to fucking Hortons.
Yeah, manager, go get the hula hands. You know the menu. Yeah. So 1993, his wife Glenda divorces him, obviously. Well, plus when they're done with football, this happens with athletes. When they're done in their home, they're like, now what do I do with this crazy asshole?
He hasn't written her a card in so many years.
No. Now, 1994, he's done with football. He's done with Ottawa. Of course. There's only one thing to do when you're done with football and you're in a bad place. You move back home. Rule number 3, do not move back to your home.
That's where I was going earlier.
Good God. He moves back to Houston. You stupid asshole.
Third Ward.
He says about Houston, quote, I really started using drugs then.
Oh, I'll bet.
Before he wasn't. When he was kicked out of the NFL and Canada and everything else, he wasn't using drugs. But now he really got
Now I'm really going to tie one on.
And he does. By fall of 1994, his Mercedes is repossessed and he's homeless. And he's got an $8,000 a week cocaine habit and no home or car.
And no job.
And we have it in their own words about this Houston situation. In their own words, quote, drugs were really accessible in Houston. You've lost your career, your wife is gone, your kids are gone, and you still think you're on cloud 9. Cocaine makes you think you're on top of the world. I had money when I went to Houston. In 9 months, I was homeless. I was living on the doorstep of the YMCA where they'd have to run me off.
Do you hear that? Anybody that does coke right now?
That's what happens.
What the fuck?
Holy shit.
He lived on the doorstep of the YMCA.
Doorstep of the YMCA.
His home was 7 square feet.
So now you know.
Outside of operating hours.
While they're shooing him off. Hey, get out of here.
Right.
That's the other thing, too. They're shooing him the fuck off this whole time.
Get out of here, you vagrant.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I used to be Dexter Manley.
Dude, this guy, think about it. Let's break this down for 1 second. He moves to Houston, back to his hometown. And he was probably thinking, I got a little bit of a problem, but I'm going home. I got a brand new car because he said he had a brand new 94 Mercedes. Yeah. This was in 94. He's got a brand new car. He has money in the bank, at least in his pockets. He's not, a multimillionaire anymore, but he's got enough money where he feels good for the very second, goes back, goes to talk to people.
Kids mean everything to him at this point.
Everything to him. Everything. But also he is a con man, a manipulator, a liar, and a cheat. And he spends... How do you not? You go there, you have all this shit, you moved home, you've lost your career, you've lost your wife, you've lost everything. I get the depression and wanting to just bury yourself in something, drugs, some activity that doesn't remind you of this shit all the time. But drugs are what lost you all this shit, and now you're losing your fucking everything. He's sleeping on the steps of a YMCA.
When it happens, though, and you start to get into that and run back to depression, and then you run back to your addiction, a lot of times it's just a friend... Fucking Pookie on the street goes, well, I'll get you high once. That'll make you forget about it.
And the YMCA, that's where homeless people sleep.
Right.
That's where people with no money go to sleep is at the YMCA. He can't even get in there. So like, wow, how big of a fuck up do you have to be to not be allowed on the front steps of the YMCA? They're like, oh, shit. I just imagine before that he'd be like pulling up in his Mercedes and they're like, oh, it's Dexter. And now they're like, get out of here. They're shooing him off with a broom. So it's only a matter of time.
The guy with the jacket is back.
It's only a matter of time until it's November 13th, 1994.
Oh, boy.
And he is arrested for possession of a controlled substance. Of course. He spends December of 1994 at the Betty Ford Clinic, which I don't know how the hell he got in the Betty Ford Center at all.
How the fuck does he afford that?
I don't know. I don't know if this is before...
State appointed or some shit?
I don't even know. The Betty Ford's expensive. And I'm thinking, too, this is when, like nowadays, I feel like if you're retired and you have a problem, I think the NFL has a program for that.
Yeah.
Like fucking World Wrestling Entertainment has a program for that where they send out a letter to everybody that's ever worked there.
They've got
if you have an issue, we'll pay for it. So I don't know if the league,
the union pension or some shit.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it something in the union provisions? But if it was, then there'd probably be a whole lot less guys being a complete fucking disaster. Up until that point, you know what I'm saying? It's nuts. So he spends that in the Betty Ford Clinic, which isn't great for him.
Terrible.
Christmas with Betty Ford. So
is it his rap album?
It is. That's his rap album, Christmas with Betty. Now, January 24th, 1995. So he just gets out of rehab. He is at the Marriott Hotel West Loop in Houston. Okay, he's having a hard time. He's a mess.
Yeah. He
apparently runs up a very large phone bill there in the hotel because back then and still now too. Yeah. There's an hotel recently and like they still want It's like after the first 10 minutes, it's like $1.50 a minute for a local call. And we have cell phones. So like, who the fuck is ever using that?
Who's using that phone?
Back then you had to. So he was using the phone, and he was unable to pay the phone bill. So he just barricaded himself in his room.
Oh, my God.
And so management couldn't get him, and they couldn't get him, and, he wouldn't come out, and they were like, they kind of got tired of his act here, so they called the cops on him.
Hey, by the way, your phone bill is still cheaper than every night's rent that you're not paying.
That you're not paying either. So they call the police, and the police come, and they have to, like, break into his room, basically to get him out. And so they arrest him for theft of services.
Yeah.
For the phone
That's
bill.
what that
they
fucking
take him
amounts
to jail.
to.
He gets in the cop car. They take him to the police station. They get him out of the cop car, and then they go through the back seat, and they find a crack pipe in the back seat full of cocaine residue.
Who left this?
Who left this back
here? I don't know.
Here?
Who'd you arrest before me?
So, yeah, Dexter. Oh, yeah, he's the guy. He probably had that one.
Hey guys, we're just going to break away from the show for just a second to tell you about another sponsor of ours. They're a fantastic watch company called Lord Timepieces.
LordTimepieces.com. They're so good. You want to go there now and enter promo code CRIME. That will get you 10% off.
And free shipping.
Free shipping.
It's amazing.
Worldwide free shipping. They are a London-based fashion brand, affordable watches, reasonable prices, free shipping. Watches start at around $70 US. Classic design, quality construction, and styled minimalism is what they're going for.
Don't be a nut that spends all kind of money
ridiculous.
on a watch.
My
James
watch
is wearing
awesome.
one right now. It's
gorgeous.
black. It's got blue arms.
It tells
nice. Time, and it's beautiful. It looks
slick,
fantastic.
It's slick looking, and they are at a great price. They have sold watches throughout all time zones, over 100,000 watches sold. This new watch brand is taking social media by storm. Lord Timepieces makes it easy and very affordable for you to get a great watch as a Valentine's gift. Hint, hint, guys, Valentine's gift. Pony up. I'm telling you, the woman in your life, the man in your life, they're going to love a Lord
She's
Timepiece.
going to like it. They have rose gold ones for women that are beautiful. My wife loves hers. Just go. Go shop. Go look. They're fantastic. LordTimepieces.com. Promo code CRIME.
It's fantastic. These watches start, like I said, only $70. Shipping is very easy. Online ordering, super easy. The look and style of these watches is phenomenal. I've been complimented. Like I said, my watch, I wear it. People compliment it all the time. It's really great. You really want to do that. At the department store, you'd be looking at spending like $400 or $500 on a watch like this. But Lord Timepieces cuts out the middleman to provide the best price to their customers. Fabulous in the way they look and perform. Classic design, quality construction, styled minimalism. They look and feel magnificent. Once again, you get 10% off of your order with free shipping included if you order from LordTimepieces.com, promo code CRIME. Now back to the show. So on February 16th, 1995, he's at a motel now. Now he's stepped down for, he wasn't at Marriott a month ago. 3 weeks ago, he's at a Marriott.
And
now
in
he's
the
at
early 90s, a Marriott was pretty nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That's decent. At least that's like mid-level shit right here. This is not. He's at a motel. And he is depressed. I don't blame him at this point. He's completely depressed, and he calls a Houston sportscaster who works for a local TV station named Steve Buckhantz. And Buckhantz and him, Dexter worked for this radio station.
Okay, this was the one he was on before.
He was on this TV station, so he knew this guy very well, and he called him. I mean, think about this, too. He hasn't worked there. This is a guy he worked with years ago.
Okay.
He hasn't worked with this guy in a while.
Okay.
And he's in a room and he's feeling suicidal.
Oh, God.
And he has nobody to call but an ex-coworker.
Wow.
That's sad to me. That's really sad.
That's a man that won the Super Bowl. He has NFC championship rings, and he's calling a guy he talked to 15 years ago to tell him that he doesn't feel so good.
And he told him that he was threatening suicide. He said he was going to kill himself. So Steve Buckhantz, a good friend, he calls the police and says he's in this hotel. Go get him. He's going to kill himself, and which anybody would do for their friend, I would think. When they get there, they find him, and he also has a bunch of cocaine on him. And they arrest him for possession of a controlled substance.
I'm going to kill myself right after I do all this coke.
After I do all this coke. So he's now this is that's January, February. He was arrested in November. He's having a bad period
months,
here. Houston has done this. He moved back to Houston less than a year and a half ago, and he's already homeless and being arrested constantly. Don't move home.
And suicidal.
Yeah, which I don't fucking blame him for. He has all this shit. Now, July 25th, 1995, Dexter is arrested by Harris County Organized Crime and Narcotics Task Force.
Oh, God.
He was apparently hanging out in some drug spots and buying drugs in some drug spots where the
Vice Squad is working.
Well, they were investigating this for a long time, and he had the bad luck of buying shit from that day,
of course,
from this spot of the day they were going to raid this shit.
Right.
And basically, they chase him down the highway. He's on a freeway. They pull him over on the freeway, because they watched him buy it and everything like that. They pull him over on the freeway. When officers attempt to arrest him, he runs down the freeway. He starts running down the shoulder of the freeway. Not even like into the woods, down the shoulder of the freeway. Problem was there was a news camera there that caught this entire thing.
Oh, my God.
This was broadcast back to Washington, back to his kids saw this on television.
Oh, no.
His kids saw him, cops attempting to arrest him and him running down the freeway.
Wow.
And then being caught by the cops. And also, when he was caught, guess what he had on him? Whole bunch of crack. He's got some
he's got crack now.
Crack now.
Yeah,
he's escalated now to crack. Yeah, he's not a druggie, though, remember.
De-escalated.
Remember, he's a con man, a manipulator, a liar, and a cheat, but he's not a druggie. That is one thing that he is not. He has pride. Don't you dare put him in that category. So he was being held for driving without a license and being investigated for the drugs because they wanted to see if he had any other investigation.
I'm dying to know what kind of car that was.
Link into that group. I have no idea. It didn't say.
I want to know so bad.
It wasn't a Mercedes.
No,
I'll tell you that much.
It was a fucking Tercel with the fenders were different colors.
Bald tires. He borrowed it from someone he went to high school with.
Or fucking rented tire on the back.
So August 4th, 1995, Dexter pleads guilty to 2 counts of possession of cocaine. This is from 2 of his older arrests. I believe it's the February and the January. He is sentenced to 4 years in prison.
Oh, God.
That's no shit.
Yeah.
So now he gets 4 years in August of 95. He doesn't do the whole 4 years, though. He's out in November 96.
Good behavior.
Good behavior. And it was funny, too. There's an article about when he was in prison, how he was like a high-profile inmate. Everybody knew him.
Of course.
There was this big article about how security is a big problem in prisons when they have a high-profile guy like that because they don't know people are going to try to mess with him or try to kill him, and they don't want people just getting. It's bad publicity for the jail when someone famous gets killed in it, basically.
Somebody with 19 sacks in the NFL.
Someone with 97 and a half sacks.
Right, for his career.
Has 2 Super Bowl rings. It's probably we don't want to have him bleeding out in the commissary. So let's try.
Let's not have him knifed by the Aryan Brotherhood.
That'd be good. Yeah. That'd be good. He's already got a big scar. So November 1996, he's paroled. So he's out. He's out on the street.
2 years.
2 years, less than 2 years. Year and a half, he finds a woman. Quickly, 1997, he gets married because when things are going wrong in your life,
find love,
and you moved home to your hometown,
time to get married.
You're getting arrested for cocaine. You gotta get married. There's only Jesus. Have some kids, quick. Hurry up. Get her pregnant.
If there's ever a time in your life to get married, and you may as well do it when you're flat ass broke because at least you don't have shit to lose.
Well, I don't know where this woman is an angel, basically. Her name's Lydia. They went to high school together. He's known her since high school. She was the high school valedictorian.
Wow.
So she can read.
Yeah,
she can read.
She can read, but clearly her life has gone downhill too.
No, she went to Howard University on a full scholarship.
Oh my God.
Full scholarship, valedictorian, and as an engineer.
She's an engineer, and she's going to marry a guy that's got a crack habit?
This fucking dum-dum with Dextard as his license plate.
He can't spell engineer.
He can't. Oh, he could never spell engineer. I had to think about engineer for a second.
That is a tricky fucking word.
Do I put
those
the
double E's.
Yeah, I had to think about it. So this guy's like, what does your wife do? I can't spell it, but I'll tell you. You know what I mean?
She runs trains and shit.
She can't. He can't spell valedictorian, scholarship, or engineer. Any of those things about his wife.
Best of luck spelling Howard.
I don't know shit. Yeah, I know a guy named Howard. So 1998, things are getting bad for Dexter. He goes into a pawn shop in 1998, pouring sweat, sweating profuse. He's a sweaty guy anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you see him now, like
the bubbles are popping off him.
He's got, but I mean, he is sweat pouring off. He takes out his 1983 Super Bowl ring, the one against the Dolphins, his first one, and he sells it for $1,000. $1,000 he sells.
Think we can get it for that?
There's a story. I'll tell you what happened to that ring.
Okay.
This is altogether, by the way, in his life, he would end up so far now going to 30. This is funny. 37, another 37 scholarship offers. He went to 37 trips to rehab. What? So he went from 37 scholarships to 37 rehabs.
That's impressive.
That's a life right there. That's a bookend, let me tell you.
No doubt.
So 1999, he's with his friend.
That defines this podcast. That defines the success and then the fucking crash.
And then the
37 universities are scouting you and want you.
Yeah, bad.
Terribly.
Bad.
They 37 places will give you a scholarship, and now you have 37 scholarships to rehab.
Insane, right? 37 rehab scholarships.
That's terrible.
He's the king of rehab, this guy. 1999, next year, he's on a plane. He's boarding a plane to Canton, Ohio, for some football-related thing.
The Hall of Fame.
But I don't think it was the actual induction. It was some other.
He's going to go visit.
Yeah, it was some
he wants
event.
to go see some busts.
It was some event.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think he was going to just sniff the air and be like, these guys aren't on a bunch of cocaine. They haven't been banned from the league for life.
Oh, look, that guy was drafted the same year as me.
Oh, no, look at that. Oh, wow. Okay, that's not great. Hey, look, Howie Long's on television. We were drafted. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Never mind. The only guy who he doesn't feel jealous of is Lawrence Taylor, who's getting arrested as much as him at this point. That's it. The only fucking guy.
But still had a better career.
But still play. He was so good that they didn't even care about the cocaine. They were like, you just keep snorting.
They didn't care that he was locking his head coach out of practice.
Didn't matter.
They didn't give a fuck.
Ever watch him play? Look up his highlight reel and tell me it mattered. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So Dexter boards the plane. It's a lifetime friend of his named John O'Quinn. John O'Quinn surprises him on the plane, giving him his Super Bowl ring back.
What?
He went out. He purchased the ring he purchased it for $15,000. This asshole at the pawn shop had quite the fucking
That guy's
markup.
a dick.
He's a dick. He purchases it as a surprise for Dexter. Dexter tells him no. He tells him, please hold on to that for me.
Because I'll sell it again.
He literally said, I don't trust myself. He said he couldn't trust himself, that he wouldn't pawn it again. He said, quote, I had another run in me. So that tells you, wasn't done yet. I was going to be on them YMCA steps pretty goddamn quick. I was planning on it about 8 o'clock tonight, so you might want to keep that ring in your pocket. I don't want to waste your 15 grand.
I was already fixing to Google YMCA's in Canton. So.
That's it. So, I mean, you hang on to that, please. By the way, you get a cot in your hotel room and I'll just sleep there. I don't need much. I'm cool. You got a front step I can use?
You may want to rip the phone out of the fucking wall, though.
Because I will use it, goddammit. This is all going to your credit card, right? Yeah. So mind if I use the phone real quick? I'm not going to take long. Hold on. Leave the room, though. It's going to take a while. So January 10th, 2001, he's arrested for cocaine possession. Again, big shocker.
He's back up to cocaine again, though.
Yeah, listen to how dumb this one was.
Oh, God.
At least before, they had reason to talk to him, the police. This is just him being an idiot, okay? It's at the Infinity Hotel in Houston. This is unreal. Police were serving a search warrant or serving a warrant to arrest someone else. Had nothing to do with Dexter. Didn't know the guy. They were not there for Dexter Manley.
Right.
They were there for some other guy. This
is 2001.
This is 2001.
So these cops probably don't even remember him.
Probably not. This Dextard, what he does, he drops his crack pipe because the cops are there and he gets paranoid, like, oh, they're here for me because everybody needs to, he's a narcissist. He drops his crack pipe and takes the cocaine out of his pocket and swallows it right in front of the cops. Cops heard the crack pipe hit the ground, looked at him, and he's swallowing a thing of cocaine.
Right.
So they go over, hey, Bob, you want to get the guy we came for? I'm going to go grab him quick. And then they go over and arrest him because he's a fucking moron.
We'll double up on our fucking quota this month.
It's okay. Just get another, call someone else in with another car. He's arrested for evidence tampering for the cocaine, possession of cocaine, paraphernalia with the pipe and everything. Now, March 19th, 2002, he's convicted of possession of cocaine. He agrees to let the judge suggest sentencing and do the sentencing because they said, do you want the judge or the jury? Because he had an option whether the judge or the jury would sentence, and he says, I'll let the judge do it because at this point, he's had good luck with people on benches feeling bad for him, basically. Senators have felt bad for him. He figures he can put one by a fucking judge, a local Houston area judge. Now, he pleads guilty. Like I said, he's convicted of all this.
Right.
He must come back in for a pre-sentencing meeting. He's released on $20,000 bond. This is March 19th. He's got to be back on March 22nd for a pre-sentencing meeting with him and the DA and his lawyers, and they're going to talk about whatever. March 22nd, fails to show up for the pre-sentencing meeting. Obviously, judge issues a warrant for his arrest.
Yeah.
So he's on the lam now.
Jesus.
He's gone. He's going. He's been fucking everywhere. He's been in and out of prison. Somehow his wife is still with him.
Here's that run he had left in him.
This is the run he had left in him. He's got a Super Bowl ring sitting in some guy's safe, literally in some guy's safe, because he can't even possess the Super Bowl ring because he doesn't trust himself that he won't sell it.
He doesn't trust himself. How's anybody else supposed to?
He's out wandering the streets. He has $10 in his fucking pocket. And he's like, what can I buy for $10? I don't know. I guess I'll get some shawarma. And he goes into a place, and it's the shawarma man. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Man, why are you here, man? Are you no read? I'm not from country. I read still. You dumb. I write see menu. I write that.
Maybe that's why you don't know why signs say closed.
Signs say closed. You don't even know. You see, you want shawarma? Look at the menu. That word come from me. I write. You so stupid. You have ring, beautiful big ring. You sell? You sell for what? For cocaine? What? You dumb, man. Signs say closed. I don't know. I'm not. No shawarma for you. No. Okay, fine. You want lamb? I make for you. It's okay. That's what I do. I make shawarma. I make for you. It's okay. Hey, there you go. I got a piece of.
No cocaine. I have problem.
I have problem though. So you eat and you leave because I can't. You can't stay here. 2 minutes later we'll both be in a hotel room. You know.
My friend come out ask if we want party.
I swallow cocaine. It's not good. It's bad. It's bad. I don't like. Signs say closed. So, March 29th, week later, 2002, Dexter is sentenced to the maximum sentence for this crime. Maybe he should have went with the jury.
Yeah.
Get some sympathy from them. District Judge Elsa Alcala said, quote, I do think that you need drug treatment. I do see that you need mental health counseling because you are so self-destructive, but I also think you need to be punished.
Elsa doesn't watch football.
No.
She could give a fuck.
She even said later on, too, that, he might have been a famous guy out there, but in the courtroom, he's just another defendant. She banged him extra hard to say that I'm not putting up with that shit in my court. I'm not a silver-haired, middle-aged white man.
And I don't watch the NFL. I could give a fuck about you.
Don't care. Yeah. You, sir, may fuck off 2 years.
Oh.
2 years in jail for that.
For swallowing a crack rock in front of
tampering with evidence. That's
pretty steep.
That's steep, man.
Yeah.
That's honestly kind of rough. I was like, whoa, 2 years. Jesus Christ. That's a lot. That's like, what the fuck, man? So March 4th, 2004, he's released from prison. He served about 2 years in prison, give or take a month or so.
Did the courts give him any sort of treatment that he must undergo? He's
got to undergo some treatment. He claims that from October 2004 to October 2005, he was clean.
Okay.
He says he stayed clean that whole time.
But what is he?
What is what?
What is he? He's a manipulator?
Oh, he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a con man, manipulator, liar, and a cheat.
Right.
But Jimmy, not a druggie.
He's good now.
He's good now. He wasn't doing the cocaine. He was just swallowing it.
Right.
He was holding it for someone else inside the lining of his stomach. That's all he was doing. It's just I'm just going to put it down here for later. Don't worry about it. So on February 1st, 2006, his son, Dexter Manley Jr. signs a letter. He actually does something good. He signs a letter of intent to go to Oregon University to play football for old Chip Kelly up there. So he's actually going to go have a good time.
Good.
He ends up transferring later on. He's a bit of a
washout.
He's not a washout. He's a good player, and he's also seems like a nice kid. But it seems like he's had a tough upbringing, and he's not quite that stable. But
is there a little bit of Dexter in him?
He has a learning disability too, like his dad. He had the same kind of problem, but they actually,
they diagnosed it, figured it out.
His mother sent him to a special. His mother sent him to a special school to help him and all that shit.
Is it because Dad had millions of dollars?
Yeah, they said they would put him in a cab to school every day. It's that sort of thing. Like I can't afford to send my kids to school in a cab every day, so not even Uber. There's a bus over there, and it's public.
I can walk your ass.
So June 16th, 2006. Now he was sober for that little. He claims he was sober. Dexter goes out at night. He talks about how he had triggers for things. He said, I was driving my car this night, and I think he said he had Barry White playing on the stereo. It was something like that, and it was in a nice car, in a new car with good music playing smooth. And he said it was a trigger for him.
Hell yeah.
He just couldn't help it. That was a trigger, like that cool, good life. Rather than this feels good, I don't want to be in prison. He's like, this is good, but I need to go to jail for 2 years.
This feels good, but you know it would feel better?
To be chased down the freeway by police officers as I jam crack down my throat. That would be much better. I think that would be what I'm going for.
You know, it would feel better as if I heard screaming while I was laying on a concrete bed. Yeah, that would feel so great.
Or if I could get kicked off the YMCA steps. So Dexter, by the middle of the night, he is high and wandering the street. He has ditched his car. He's out wandering the street. a bunch of police officers surround him.
Yeah.
They say that the cops said he looked high, but that wasn't their concern. They said there was something wrong with him, clearly. Like he wasn't comprehending things like beyond being high. And they were like, there's something fucking wrong with this guy. So rather than arresting him, they were merciful. They actually took him to the hospital. Where he was belligerent at the hospital. He didn't want to be there. He was happy to not be arrested, but he was belligerent until they sent him home. They were like, fuck this guy. They sent him home. He ends up having the next day, his wife takes him to Georgetown Hospital, where he must undergo 15 hours of surgery to remove that cyst from his brain from 1986 that has now grown and caused a lot of swelling in his brain.
That's what's going on.
And he didn't even know where he was that night. He was just kind of out there. Good God. Claims that when he got done with the surgery, he was so thankful for life that he decided that he didn't want to roll the dice anymore and he wanted to live. He also said, and this is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard, he says the tumor removal made him no longer want cocaine.
Oh, boy.
He just had it. Jimmie.
They found in his medulla oblongata.
A switch.
Yeah.
It was just a little in the back of a doll, like by the battery. He had a little cocaine activator switch, and they just had to turn it off. That's the problem. This whole time,
my cocaine need was in the tumor.
They forgot to turn him off. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
All you need to do is flick that little switch. He blamed
the one that says not the try me switch.
No,
flip it to play. And I'm good.
This is the ultimate. I'm good now. This is the ultimate. I'm good now.
Unbelievable.
This is the ultimate. I'm fucking good now. Just what the hell?
What?
Unbelievable. That I don't even know how to respond to that. He said that the tumor caused his cocaine addiction. And now he's fine. Doesn't ever want it again.
That is fascinating.
So in 2009. John O'Quinn, our friend with the Super Bowl ring, dies in a car accident.
Oh, no.
He's dead. Dexter doesn't have his ring back yet. That was 10 years ago.
Right.
Dexter contacts the estate about his ring. They tell him that John put a special clause in his will about the ring. This guy took care of the ring in his will. I think he was a lawyer, this guy, too. So
smart man.
He said that basically the only person that the estate will talk to about the ring is his wife, Lydia.
Nice.
Won't give it to him. Has to go through Lydia. And also Dexter has to have a certain amount of clean time according to Lydia to get this ring back.
Nice.
So that's like this big thing where he has to not be a jerk off. They have to be pretty sure he's not going to pawn it in the next 6 months probably, I think is what they're going for here. Now, at this point, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Talk about a career. He's come up. He's gotten stabbed with a box cutter. Yeah. His fucking brother got killed.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, he goes in the NFL. He acts like an idiot. He talks shit. He gets suspended all the time.
Still a hero.
Coach is fired. He's been arrested. He's got to put his wife and his kids through fucking hell.
Yeah.
They finally give up, divorce him, tear apart the family, moves back to his hometown. He's homeless. He's being arrested. He's jamming crack down his throat, running down the fucking freeway. I mean, he's a menace to society.
What a disaster.
I feel bad for all these people, Jimmie. I feel so bad for all these people.
Get out of here. How many fucking people did you find?
Not nearly as bad as I feel for Dexter Manley, an interior decorator in the North New York City area.
Dexter, so manly. I love men.
Yeah, that seems like a very flamboyant gay man. I'm Dexter Manley. Dexter Manley, pleased to meet you.
He wasn't even born with that name.
No.
He picked it, and then people were like, dude, you realize that was a football player that completely... I don't even care.
I don't care. Nobody knows.
Not even care. He even stands with his hands like on his hips, pockets, all fucked up, like upside down.
Yeah, I feel like he does that a lot too. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I will design the shit out of your room. Don't think I won't.
We're going to Brooklyn.
I'm Dexter and I'm Manly. Let me tell you something. I feel like that's a guy. I feel like that's him. Dexter Manley, president of Tabloid Exclusion, a broadcast media company in Brooklyn, New York.
Another one in New York.
Another one in New York.
Jesus.
And Dexter Manley Jr., I feel bad for. His son, who is now a sales manager at Park Place Motor Cars, Mercedes-Benz in Dallas.
No.
I'm 99% sure that's his son. There's a picture of him. It looks just like his son. I found him on
too bad.
On some car dealership rating site. At least it's a Mercedes dealer.
Yeah, but from
still.
Chip Kelly to selling cars, like playing in Oregon.
This is what college football is, though.
Yeah.
College football is 98% guys who are going to go get good, decent jobs selling cars through some booster that they knew. He's going to go get a cushy job selling Mercedes. And then 2% of guys go to the NFL and do a bunch of cocaine and go to jail 20 times. That's college.
Go to the NFL for 3 years and then wind up doing coke.
Watch a college game. Yep. All those guys on the field, 2 of them will be in the NFL. The rest of them will be doing this.
Right.
That's it. They'll be selling Mercedes-Benz at a fucking, at a dealership
so
somewhere.
Sad.
It's sad because in 2009, Dexter Manley Jr. signed with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL.
Ugh.
So again, he's going to Canada.
He's already there.
He might as well jam a 20 up his ass and just call himself Dexter Sr. It doesn't matter at this point. What's the difference? So finally, in February of 2010, Dexter gets his Super Bowl ring back. Now, I assume they never mentioned the other ring, so I assume that he only sold this one. But if you were that destitute, what are you going to have, a goddamn Super Bowl ring hanging around? I would think you'd sell that, but they never said that was the ring.
Maybe the wife somehow wrapped that one up, like when she was going through his pockets and stuff, rifling through, pulling all the money out.
Might have lost it in the divorce, honestly.
It's possible.
Know. I mean, I'm sure she had some things to say where the court would have been like, let's just give her whatever she wants.
Whatever she wants.
Wow, has she put this guy through hell.
That fucking guy is in jail.
Because as it says here, the kids were important, but not when cocaine, not so much when cocaine's there. You know what I mean?
Well, we should give her everything because he is a cheat, a manipulator, a liar.
That's true. He did say that in the newspaper. So why don't we just go ahead and give it to her? We have an in their own words on his Super Bowl ring here. In their own words, I do cherish it. I keep it in a safe deposit box. I was a young prize bull. Now I'm more experienced and more mature. I have a bright future days ahead in front of me from here on out. I don't think there's no more dark days. I know there's no more dark days. So he's good now.
Yes.
He's good now, right?
He cannot stop saying it.
Jimmie, he's good. God
so
damn it.
good.
So good. July 17, 2012, he joins the NFL brain damage lawsuit.
Of course he does.
He claims that the cyst on his brain was caused by football.
Wow.
So he's claiming the football caused the cyst on his brain, which caused his cocaine addiction. So
which caused his life to be a complete mess.
So back to I have a 20 jammed up my ass on the YMCA steps because I played football. Basically, that's his brain. Full of shit. Do you know, by the way, his whole story is about this literacy thing. Do you know there's people at Oklahoma State who say that he's full of shit and he could read?
Really?
There are people who administered that test. I saw this on message boards, but it's not legitimate journalism. Yeah. It's people like, I went to OSU and the lady I know said this, so I can't include that. Like, this person said this. Right. But I have fucking integrity. Look it up, Skip Bayless, you fucking frosty douche. So anyway, these people are saying when he did his entrance exam, he was reading at like a 9th grade level. Like he wasn't a genius, but he was functional. They said,
so that's why in 3 days when he learned how to read, it was because he already fucking knew that much.
That's the thing. Like they're saying that he figured out that he could get sympathy, and they would be like, oh, how dare they do that to you? They didn't teach you how to read.
Wow.
It's one of those things.
Because he's a manipulator.
Yes, exactly.
And a
con man.
And a con man and a cheat.
And a cheat. It's so fucking funny, man. That's the best part of it, I think, is that whole...
that statement sums up his whole life.
It sums up his whole life.
Just those words, that first sentence of that statement is so perfect and poignant to describe everything that is Dexter Manley.
Rather than the grapefruit T-shirt, he should have made that T-shirt. I'm a liar, I'm a cheat, just to warn people. Just to warn people. Now, he's getting fun now, too. April 28th, 2013.
Getting fun.
Now it's not cocaine, it's just stupidity in public. October 28th, 2013, Dexter is on a radio show on WTOP in Washington, D.C., where they ask him a question about... there was a game that the Redskins played, and Troy Aikman was the announcer. And they said, was it a jinx having Troy Aikman up there? Because the Redskins and Cowboys are giant rivals, if you don't know. And he said, quote, Troy Aikman's a queer. On live radio.
Yes.
The host literally went, whoa, hey, we don't need that here. And he goes, and the guy goes, right away the host said, do you want to apologize to Troy for saying that? He goes, that's really not what we're trying to do here. And he goes, nope, I meant it.
He doubled down.
And they're like, yeah, but man, you can't be saying this and that. He's like, no, I'm sorry, I said that. But I'm not going to apologize to Troy for it. That has nothing to do with anything. And they were like, and they just like cut the commercial. All right, we're here with Dexter Manley, and we'll be back later. And then he was banned from the radio station. Never allowed.
Troy Aikman's a queer.
No longer. Troy Aikman's a queer. He literally said, was there a jinx, you think, because of Troy Aikman? Ha ha. And he went, Troy Aikman's a queer. Okay. Interesting.
So there's a joke by Artie Lang about the Eagles having a jail down below the stadium, and he said that somebody got arrested and was down there in front of the judge, and the judge goes, I'm going to throw the book at you unless you can give me a statement that justifies your actions. Give me a statement, or else I'm going to throw the book at you. And he goes, Troy Aikman's a fag.
That's amazing. That'll probably get you let off in Philly. Jesus. So, man. That's
I love
awesome.
that just everybody in that division from the fucking from the Eagles.
The
to
bad
the
part is that was like that's a rumor that's been going around for 30 years that Troy Aikman is gay. Right. So that's one of those things. It's like you can't call him a queer either. I apologize. I've done a bad gay accent. I've done this. Sorry for.
And then
anybody.
We throw in queer and fag.
He said queer, not me. Yeah. Sorry, you said fag. He said queer. I'm in the clear on this one.
I was quoting a joke.
Send your complaints to @Whisman sucks, not to me. So.
All right.
2015, the NFL Network airs Dexter Manley, A Football Life, which is a really, really interesting documentary, basically covering all the shit I said except in less detail.
Okay.
Because it's not on crime and sports.
Right.
Nobody has us. Nobody has our detail down.
Nobody has this.
God damn it. So he's starting to go out and he's working and he's also doing public appearances. June 20th, 2015, there's a free event. Mm-hmm. Dexter Manley live at the Father's Day breakfast at Salem Fields Community Church.
Oh, that sounds luxurious.
Oh, yeah. It says he'll also be guest speaker at the Sunday service, and this is a quote, giving you, quote, stories from his NFL career as well as his walk with Christ.
Stories from his NFL career and his walk with Christ. He's going to tell you about his walk with Christ right after he tells you Troy Aikman's a queer.
Hey, Troy Aikman's a queer. Now, let me tell you about Jesus. Wait do you hear what he says about Joe Namath. Wait do you hear what he says about Tom Brady. It's worse. Worse than that. It's great.
Gisele's a whore.
Yeah, Gisele's a whore. I walked with Jesus right into a cell. Jesus helped me get the cocaine from my ass.
Jesus, he was my cellmate.
He was my cellmate.
We called him Jesus.
So June 22nd, 2015, he is at this point, too, he's working at a company called CE Construction and Property Management in the D.C. metro area. He's some sort of management person for this. He's a mascot,
superintendent
basically.
Of something.
Yeah, so there's a big fluff piece on him out there. Oh, my God. The fluff pieces are coming hard and heavy now. It is June 22nd, 2015.
He's called Troy Aikman a queer just 2 years ago on fucking public television. Let's not write anything about how great of a man he is.
The title of this fluff piece is called, quote, Faith Saved Former Football Star Dexter Manley from Fumbling Life. First of all, he has fumbled dozens of times, so that's a load of shit.
I'm sitting here with my mouth
I see you.
agape.
You're like, are you fucking kidding me?
How the fuck can you even write that and be like, without writing that and then being like, can you fucking believe I'm going to write this?
Is right, yeah. He talks about how he did drugs because of his low self-esteem and everything, and he says even, quote, in their own words on religion, quote, God is real. He answered my prayers. I had a praying grandmother, and he answered her prayers, too. I was lost, but now I'm found. And if I'm found, he can find you, too.
Oh, boy.
He's a pitch man now.
He learned the words to fucking...
He's a pitch man now. And literally, they said after that, because he was at church doing that, they played Amazing Grace in the church for him. They literally, he queued it up. He fucking queued it up. So, he's good now, right?
Yeah.
Faith has stopped him from fumbling life.
Oh, my God. He found religion.
Totally. June 10th.
He's breaking every fucking rule. The junior.
Yeah.
Move back
everything.
home. Fucking religion. Everything.
Just go away from his silver-haired middle-aged woman. All of this shit. Jesus. Cocaine. He's every broken rule. But now faith it's saved him from fumbling life. Right? It's good, right? He's good now. Everybody. Crime and sports. He's good now,
it's
right?
It's over. It's a happy life.
June 10th, 2016, Manley is wanted for assault.
Of who?
Montgomery County Police say that it was a guy at his job at CE Construction that said that the guy was working. He was on his phone, and Manley came over and punched him, and he woke up in the hospital. That was it. He woke up in the hospital.
This is the best story that we've ever done. This is so fun.
Unreal, man. Unreal. Now, January 2, I skipped over one thing to get to that because it was just too good to go right from church to that. But in January of 2016, he's on a show on CBS on television talking about football. They have him as an analyst.
Cannon.
He's talking about Robert Griffin III, who's a quarterback, and he says, quote, most of the black athletes, they like running. They're probably used to running from the law.
Wow.
He says that, and you see everybody just go,
what the fuck?
There's white guys around him that just distance. They're like, I can't look to be laughing at that. That's not going to be okay for me. I'm going to get fired if I laugh at that. So he says that like a complete moron. Next day, Dexter apologizes for the black quarterback remarks, saying, quote, I say some things I don't think about sometimes. Well, no shit, moron. Like Troy Aikman's a queer.
I don't think Robert Griffin III has been in trouble with the law yet, has he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, he cheated on and got a girl pregnant while he was married to somebody else.
Illegal.
But no, he's a dick, but he's not a scumbag.
So September 24th, 2015 here, Manley has a big rant on 106.7 radio in Washington. It's The Fan on Tom Brady. Basically saying Tom Brady is a piece of garbage. He'd take every quarterback in the league over him. He'd take Aaron Rodgers over him. He'd take Matt Ryan over him. He'd take anybody. He named like 5 quarterbacks. Like, I'll take any of those. He can't even get a first down. He's not athletic at all. He's got things around him and a good coach. He's garbage. He said, quote, Tom Brady couldn't even pack Joe Theismann's jock.
Well, I mean,
which I think is just hilarious. Couldn't pack his jock.
Does he mean like put it in a duffel bag, or does he mean like take Joe Theismann's dick and like put it into his jock strap?
His own cock couldn't fill the expanses of Theismann's large
I think it's
jock.
funnier to think that he couldn't take Joe Theismann's dick and put it into his jock strap.
He said earlier about Joe Montana in his career when he first started playing, he said that he was going to ring his clock.
What?
At an interview, and they said, what? And
do you mean ring his bell or clean his clock?
That's what he said. He goes, I guess you ring a bell and you clean a clock. I don't know. He was just like, I don't know. I'm gonna ring his clock. Okay.
I'm Dextarded. I'm sorry.
It happened since 2nd grade. June 17, 2016, he celebrates 10 years sober, which I'm not buying for a fucking minute, but okay.
I'm out.
So August 23rd, 2016, this is a few weeks later, a month later, he pleads guilty to assault of the man at CE Construction, receives 1 year probation, community service, anger management, and a $200 fine. So apparently it's backed off a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you love Dexter Manley, all you guys. And if you can't get enough of Dexter Manley, you need to go to his website, dextermanley.com. It looks terrible. The letters are all pixelated, and everything is like up in the upper 10% of the screen. Like it's not spread. It's terrible.
It's like Nintendo graphics.
It's like an illiterate guy on cocaine made it. You know what I mean? It's like it's just not very good. With 20 up his ass.
There's a big flag up top, a big header that says Troy Aikman's a queer.
Queer Aikman. So it says on the banner on it says, quote, compassion, literacy, motivation. Because now he's a speaker also. Now, if you really have to get educating Dexter, the fine publication, the book he put out in 92, written by Dexter and a guy named Tom Friend.
More like Tom Friend.
Tom Friend, yeah. You can go to Amazon.com. They have 39 copies used for as low as 1 cent and 15 new from $4.
Wow.
So you can get that real cheap,
That's
guys.
a
Go ahead
cheap
and
one.
do that. You can also sportsmemorabilia.com. There's several autographed pictures and cards and mini helmets. You can get all of his pictures. The autographed pictures are about $35. They have one of him about to hit John Elway that you would enjoy very much. Also, an autographed jersey of his for $149.99 if you really need some Dexter. Or if you don't want the autograph, you just want to put on a Dexter jersey, stick a 20 up your ass, and have people think you're a great guy. You can go to NFLshop.com and get the Dexter Manley jersey for $139.99 there.
Wow.
Only an extra $10 for his autograph, so go for that.
That's pretty amazing.
It really is. Now, on January 6th...
For an 8-ball, you can
not
get his...
bad.
Not even, just for a tiny bit, just a key bump.
It's all good.
You can get his autograph.
January 6, 2017, at the Tally Ho Theater in Leesburg, Virginia, they had the Legends of the Gridiron show with Dexter Manley, John Riggins, and Joe Jacoby. Quote, an intimate night of stories from the men who lived it. Tickets were $59 a pop for that one.
Holy shit.
That's like going to a Redskins game.
A big chunk of that was to pay John Riggins, though. Yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah, they're like, Joe Jacoby, we could get some other just big white guy and say he's Joe Jacoby. No one's going to know the Manley, he's got the scar, but he'll do shit for $20.
He'll show up for a rolled up 20 that's easy to jam in there.
Just put it up my ass because I got to go home. I don't want my wife to find it. Also, too, if you seriously can't get enough of Dexter Manley, and the book's not enough for you, the website's not enough for you,
a personal appearance for $12.
You need Dexter Manley to come to you and speak about something. You can go to sportsspeakers360.com. You can get Manley to speak in an event. There's a link for Manley's booking agent there.
Can I guess?
His quote?
Yeah.
I'm
going to go with $350.
$2,500 to $5,000 is his price range.
Holy shit.
So if you want Dexter Manley, you got to pony up at least $2,500.
That is way too much.
Way too, and then another $2,500 in cocaine. It gets very expensive to have him there.
And he's going to run up your phone bill.
That's it. And he is currently working for Galley, G-A-L-I, Galley Service Industries, Inc. It looks like an industrial cleaning company.
He's a janitor.
Dexter's on the website at galleyservice.com as the director of public relations.
Oh.
Big smiley picture of him like it never happened.
Just who I want to talk about my company.
His picture's literally like, I'm good now.
Yeah.
It's all right. So that's Dexter Manley.
Jesus.
He's
the PR guy for a company now.
Yeah, he's the PR guy. He's a liar. Actually, he's a liar, a cheat, a manipulator, a con man. That's perfect for a PR guy. You know what? Fucking PR.
You're not wrong.
He's the only honest PR guy in the world because he's the only one everyone else are going to act like they're telling the truth. No, liar, and he'll tell you about it. Thank fuck for that. That's Dexter Manley, guys. Holy shit. Wow. Was that a trip or what?
And Troy Aikman's a queer.
Queer. You know how much information that was? It's all separate. That was a tough one, man. That was a tough one to build.
So fun.
So glad we did it because it was a blast.
Yeah.
Guys, if you like what you hear here, please, once again, get on iTunes, give us 5 stars, tell us you're following instructions, say whatever inside jargon you want to do.
I love it.
If you really want to help us, and we really, really ask for this, if you're so inclined, please go to patreon.com/crimeandsports and donate to the show. There's some cool rewards on there, but most of all, it's just a way for us to pay for some of the expenses. Like I said, we have a website coming, we have merch, we have all this stuff. We want to do live shows. We need to sponsor this stuff.
I want to make a huge plea to all of you. James is being very humble, but if you can give any dimes or nickels to us, I would really appreciate it because I have to get this man some fucking health insurance.
Before I die.
Do not let me do this on my own because I will come in here and go, welcome to Crime and Sports. This week it's Dexter Manley. One time he called Troy Aikman a queer. Thanks for coming around. You don't want that story. You don't want that fucking story.
He called Troy Aikman a queer. Oh, that's brilliant.
Chip in if you can. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Help me get James some health insurance so that this show is fucking fantastic every week for you because we love you guys and we can't do this without all of you.
Thank you guys so much. Also, tune in and subscribe on iTunes to Small Town Murder. It's our brand new podcast. Brand new. First episode just came out today, the day we're recording.
Yes.
By the time you hear this, there'll be almost 2 out.
Yeah.
So do that. Subscribe to that. Also, follow us on social media, and you can get some shout-outs that we're going to do in a second here. You can follow us at Crime and Sports on Twitter, on Instagram at Crime and Sports, Facebook.com/Crime and Sports. Anywhere you can find anything, it's Crime and Sports, and that's us. And you can contact us like these fine people have.
Yeah. I just found out that there is a 14-year-old boy in Santa Clarita, California named Johnny Ufano who listens to us. And I was flattered that a 14-year-old gives a shit about sports enough and he enjoys this. So thanks for listening, Johnny. Yeah, man. Christopher Olson, Max Leiden, Jennifer C., Emma in England, Paul Sullivan, Darren Broomfield, Joe Calvi, Sam Bennett, Iron Will Witt. At Iron Will Whitney. I don't know where she's at, but she's fantastic and she's listening. Amanda Helena Scott, Brian McCandless, Meg in South Africa is listening. Jeff Kiker, April Rolliter, Jennifer Lance, Jenna Norton, Paul Mamphilly, Ward from Michigan, and these are the iTunes reviews with Ward from Michigan, Lakes 50, No Nicknames, and ATC Girl 747. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for rating and reviewing. It drives us up iTunes, and it helps us tremendously. Really thank you guys for paying attention. Thanks for tweeting. Thanks for being interactive.
All of that
it's fucking huge.
Helps. And thanks for spreading the word because that's the biggest thing. And we've said this before. We're comedians. We're not a journalist. We're not journalists. We don't have a giant net. We're both comics.
I can't call
we make dick jokes. That's what we do.
I can't call the New York Times and say write a piece on my stupid
who the fuck
podcast.
Are you?
Yeah.
I open at the Tempe Improv. They'll be like, go fuck yourself. Dude.
I once performed with Jeff Ross. Fucking who?
They don't care.
We don't care.
Nobody cares. Yeah. So we don't have a big network that spreads us around. We don't do it. We launched this new podcast. Nobody helped with it. Nobody nothing. Today's the first day it was released. We're recording this a little early. The first day Small Town Murder was released, we had a ton of listens, and it's you guys because no one else is spreading it. We don't have some big network like that other network I was talking about a couple weeks ago that pumps up their podcasts and has everybody put them in their own feeds and all that. We had us and you guys, and you guys really made it a fantastic debut for us, and we cannot thank you guys enough. Please,
we call this Crime and Sports, and you guys are our team. So welcome to the team. Thank you for being here.
We always say that on Crime and Sports. Somebody goes on the Twitter. We say, welcome to the team because we are a team. We're a movement. It's the Crime and Sports movement. It's all of you guys. We love you guys so much. Give them your social media.
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Nice. And I am at Jimmie P is Funny, and you can find me at James Pietragallo. You can find me on Facebook and all that. Good luck finding it. It's in the show description somewhere. But that's it, guys. That's our show for this week. Seriously, we can't thank you guys enough.
We
love you
great.
guys. It's the best. It's been such a fun ride, and we're going to keep going until either I die or we run out of athletes, which is about 4 years from now, the way I have it calculated.
Troy Aikman's a queer.
Either way, Troy Aikman's a queer. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.